that is coming to mind, as I give this talk, please feel free to share with us. Like I say, I don't have all the answers, but I try to bring as many as possible. And then with your help as well, we can help each other. And as many that are in the FY page listening, I hope it will be beneficial to them as well. Ayot T, thanks for joining. Help share this live to your friends. Click down on the screen and press send to as many people as possible. Thank you so much for joining. So the word says it by itself, rejection, how to deal with rejection or dealing with rejection. Rejection is something everyone would experience at some point in time in their lives. So it comes in various ways, which I'm going to talk about as we go on. So whether it comes from a job, a relationship, a friend, or family, the feeling of being unwanted, feeling of being dismissed or unappreciated can really hurt deeply. Sometimes it's like somebody put a dagger to you through your heart. It really hurts when you face rejection. But like I say, that shouldn't be the end of us. So it can make us question our worth and even affect our confidence, because maybe whatever the situation is that you're feeling that rejection, it just makes you feel like you don't have enough confidence or you feel inadequate. Those are kind of feelings that comes with it. Pleasant 21, thanks for joining. But rejection doesn't have to define us. These are things we go through in life. It should not have to define who we are. For the fact that somebody rejects me does not mean I am not worthy or I'm not capable or I'm not adequate. So, in fact, how we deal with that rejection can shape our personal growth, our resilience, and our successes as well. Because if you're feeling so rejected, dejected, and all of that, chances are you're not hopeful. Chances are you feel inadequate to even carry on living or carry on doing what you know to do best. Yeah, it seems so. Sometimes it may be like that, but like I say, how we deal with that rejection really matters a lot. So today we're going to be exploring what rejection means, its emotional impact, and practical ways we can overcome rejection. So by understanding how to navigate that rejection, we can turn this painful experience into an opportunity for personal development, opportunity to be healed, opportunity to show our strength. Kentele Mimi, I see you. Thanks for joining. Please help share this live to your friends. Let them be part of our talk today. So we're going to understand rejection. I'm going to look at certain aspects, where people can feel rejection. I mean, like I said, it comes in various ways, which I've mentioned already. So understanding rejection. Rejection, in simple terms, is the feeling of being turned down or being accepted or not accepted rather in a certain situation, and it can come in various forms. For example, personal rejection. Angela, I see you. Thanks for joining. George, I see you. You're welcome. So when you face personal rejection, this includes rejection from your friends, your family, or a romantic partner. Jackham, I see you. You're welcome. So it could be not being included in social events, feeling excluded in conversations, or dealing with breakups. So it can come in that way when you talk about personal rejection. And it kind of, when it's personal, it even hits harder. But like I say, no matter how hard it hits, that should not be the end of you, really. Sometimes you might need to give space. Sometimes you may need to kind of withdraw and not just be in that sad place all the time. Sometimes you might have to go back to come back and refire. It depends, really. But when it's a personal rejection, it really hits home hard. But we need to find ways, positive ways of dealing with that kind of rejection as well. Then we have what we call professional rejection. Yeah, rejection in the workplace, such as being passed over for a promotion, not getting hired after an interview, or not receiving recognition for your work. You just feel kind of rejected after all the effort you've put in, after all the sleepless nights you put in, after missing all your lunch time, even some dinner times, and putting all the hard work. And now you've presented the work, and oh my god, it's fantastic, but then nobody recognizes you put in all that effort. In fact, they just pass you by and go to your subordinates and be asking questions. How did you come up? And you'll be wondering, but I did all the work. You can imagine how that makes you feel in that work environment. So people tend to face professional rejection from time to time. Janet, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Please help share this live to all your friends. Let them be part of our talk. And again, another kind of rejection we can face, or people can face, rejection that is social rejection. Rejection by groups or societies, often leading to feelings of not fitting in, or being or you feel being misunderstood, and it kind of makes you feel rejected. I mean, this is your social gathering group. This is where you belong. It could even be a and then they want to do something important. Everybody's aware, and say for example it's an outing or something, and everybody's meant to wear jeans and t-shirts on jeans and all of that, and nobody really reached out to you because it just kind of sidetracked you and went about the thing. And on the day you're there, everybody's wearing maybe pink jeans and pink shirts on blue jeans, and you're the only one wearing yellow. Oh my goodness, you will feel that kind of rejection, like how come they didn't include you in that information? So social rejection also can happen in our lives. I mean, that's just an example. It cuts across so many other maybe groups you belong to. Moesha, thanks for joining. Donnie, Diney, I see you, thanks for joining. So another thing I'm going to look at quickly is the emotional impact of rejection. We're human beings, and when things happen psychologically, especially negatively, it cannot affect us emotionally, and then you start feeling all these negative emotions and start behaving in a negative way even. And that's what I'm talking about, is dealing with rejection. Let's deal with it so it doesn't deal with us. Mommy UJ, thanks for joining. Please click down on the screen. You see names pop up. I bet some of us don't know those names that pop up. Just click send to all of them. Let them be part of this talk. So the emotional impact of rejection hurts. If I say it doesn't, hi Moesha, how are you? Thanks for joining. It hurts. Sometimes it hurts so deeply, and if we don't learn to deal with it, it may go or take us into depression. No, we don't do depression on inside. No, we don't. We deal with it, So rejection hurts. I mean, scientifically, it triggers the same brain region as physical pain. So sometimes when that rejection hits, some people feel so much pain in their heart, or they just feel all the sensation, negative ones, in their body. So this is why rejection can feel very overwhelming, leading to emotional, disrupt in your body, such as sadness and disappointment. So feeling let down by others or circumstances. Yeah, it happens when rejection takes place, whether it's the social, emotional, professional. Yeah, you kind of feel let down by others, and this is not a happy feeling at all. Oh, Hapos, thanks for joining. I cite you. It leaves you feeling rejected, feeling dejected, and it brings about low self-esteem. So doubting your own worth and feeling inadequate, when you feel rejected. But is that always the truth? But because you're in that emotional distress stage, you just feel, oh, I'm not worthy. Maybe that's why they've turned me down. Oh, I'm not this. But no, don't look at it that way. I'm still going to be breaking it down some more. So feeling rejected makes us feel low self-esteem sometimes. Good evening to you. I hope you're feeling good. Happy Monday to you all. It's the month of October, my month. Yay. So again, when you're rejected, it may leave you feeling anger and resentment. K-Song, thanks for joining this live. So feeling wronged or upset by the person all the situation that has caused that rejection. You feel anger. Sometimes you feel anger. Sometimes you feel resentment towards that situation or the person involved, or even sometimes towards yourself when you feel rejected. But please, 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 no. Let's deal with things adequately, positively, so that we can move on with life. Because life, they say when there's life, there is hope, and we want to hope for positive things, positive ways of dealing with rejection whenever they occur in our lives. Again, fear of future rejection. Sometimes you might feel, oh, for the fact that they've rejected me today, if I go there next time, they might just reject me, and you're living in that fear. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not a positive way to live life. Fear of future rejection. Just even try. Put in your best. When it happens, it happens. Because sometimes you might feel, oh, they're gonna reject me, and you don't even try at all. And then you now see someone you probably have trained in a profession, and now the person went ahead and they got the job, and you'll be saying, but I'm way better than this person, I'm way qualified. But you didn't apply, you didn't go for it because of the fear of being rejected the second time. So you can't put the blame on the new recruits, so to say. So becoming hesitant to try again or put yourself out, putting yourself out there because of fear of rejection, it's not a healthy way to live life. Sometimes we might have to look at beyond that rejection. Maybe there's a reason why. You might not see it now because you're feeling rejected. Maybe even perhaps God has just saved you from some agony in that promotion or in that workplace or in that role. You never can tell. So I want us to spin it around and look at the positives, in that rejection, because there is always positive, even though we're feeling that sadness and all of that emotion. Thank you, Mary. You're welcome. So another aspect we're going to look at, I want to make this as short as possible, but I'll try, is why rejection is part of life. That's what I said when I started. I've been rejected before in social, professional, and so many other ways. I've been rejected by family, loved ones. So at some point in time, if you don't face it in the family, you face it in the profession. If you don't face it, you face it with friends, or you face it somewhere, somehow. Maybe a loved one. They just called it off, and no explanation, nothing. You feel so rejected. You feel you're not worthy. And all of those feelings. Everybody at some point in time in life will face that. So we have to learn to deal with it so that we can move on. And whenever rejection comes again, we overcame the last rejection, so we can definitely overcome this one. So let's be positive in our thinking. So why rejection is part of life. Rejection is inevitable, like I said, and everyone experiences it at some point in time in their life. So no matter how successful or loved someone appears to be, they will also face rejection one way or another, because everybody in the world cannot like you. Everybody does not even need to like you, but it shouldn't change who you are. So the key thing is to remember that rejection is not a reflection of your value as a person. Always tell yourself that, but simply a part of life. It's a phase. Look at it like, once upon a time, I was a toddler. I was crawling. And at another time, I started walking. It's a phase. You come through and you will overcome. You go to the next phase, you overcome. So you can never be like everyone. Mary, yeah. You can never be like everyone. Even your mentor, mentees, all of that, your leader, you can never be exactly like them. Even if they carried you from your mother's womb and trained you up, you're still your own person. So what you're going to face in life is going to be different to what they're going to face in life. But all the same, like I said, no matter how the rejection comes, we need to learn to deal with it in a positive way so that we don't go into that spiral downward depression, anxiety, fear, and all of those things. So it's part of life. And I said, you need to always tell yourself that this rejection does not change who I am, does not change my value as a person. You know, this is just a phase. So it's beyond our control sometimes. And sometimes it has nothing, I say again, it has nothing to do with us personally, but with our circumstances. Could be the timing or other factors as well. So we need to kind of critically look at that rejection in the totality of it. Okay, it feels like rejection or it is rejection. Have you looked at other aspects to it? Because when you feel rejected, tendency is we start blaming ourselves. We're the reason why we've been rejected, not knowing that this person just does not like you. So no matter how hard you try, they will never accept you. You have to accept that and move on. It's hard, especially maybe someone you're trying to impress. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Okay. So it might be the wrong timing. Like I said, it might be other factors that has led to that being feeling or being rejected. Is not necessarily your fault. Have you thought about that? So don't beat yourself really about it. So some of us, I'll put this out there, even some of the most successful figures in history, they face rejection. And I'll just mention about 3 of them, which you probably know of them as well. You've heard of somebody called Thomas Edison. He was told by teachers that he was too, quote unquote, too stupid to learn anything. Imagine being told by your teacher, too stupid to learn anything, yet. Yet he went on to invent the light bulb. Without that light bulb, I'll be sitting in darkness. Even if the technology is working, I can connect and all of that. And you can't see me, I can't see you, you can't see me, you know. So this person, you know, dealt with it. And what came out of it was a positive thing because he learned, tried everything. Because somebody said they're stupid. And he said, no, I am not stupid. I am of worth. Something good will come out of me. I want to believe. How I wish it was here. I'll just ask him a few questions to ask, how did you overcome that negative pronunciation that was, you know, said to you? Too stupid to learn anything. That will break anyone, you know. But he didn't allow that to stop him. He didn't allow that rejection to stop him. He went on and tried a lot and he became an inventor. Light bulb, he invented that. So it's a phase when you go through rejection. It's not the end of you, guys. You need to know and believe that. Dare I mention J.K. Rowling? If you know her story, she was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter, quote and unquote, became a global success. Not just the book, the movies, cartoon, all of it, you know, came out of that. Imagine the first time she was rejected or the second time she was rejected. It's like, okay, maybe this is not just good enough. And then she just put it there, gathering dust, not knowing that this could actually make her. Everybody in the world, even if they don't know J.K. Rowling, they know of Harry Potter. Some may not have watched it before, but when you say Harry Potter, they've heard that name before. Imagine if she had given up by the first person who rejected her. And again, Oprah Winfrey. We know Oprah Winfrey. Oprah was once told she was unfit for television. Unfit. You know, it's like those things that God has placed in you as your gift and talent is what people see as you don't have what it takes to do. So look carefully. Where have you been rejected? What is that thing you've done that they say, no, no, no? Check well. Maybe that's just what God wants to accept you in, to fulfilling life or to doing things. Oprah was told she was unfit for television, but is now one of the most recognized media moguls in the world. Imagine there's a new program coming up and they say it's going to be hosted by Oprah. Everybody will be like, oh, they're waiting in anticipation, like, I don't want to miss it. She's not a popular person. Imagine when she was told the first time, you're not fit for television. Thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you so much for the hug me. And she gave up. Probably she'd just go and sit behind a desk in one newsroom and be writing some stories. Maybe we never would have heard of her. So rejection really should not be the end of you. Rather, take it positively as a propelling force to get into that place of value. So don't let it bring you down. Rejection did not stop all of these people I've mentioned, and it does not have to stop you as well. Johnny Babes, I see you. Welcome. So, Practical ways to overcome rejection. Like I said, it's going to be a short talk because I want us to come and talk about this. If you have questions or you may have a dilemma you want us to talk about when it comes to rejection, let's put heads together to help one another. So practical ways to overcome rejection. While rejection is painful, guys, it is painful, it can also be a source of growth and transformation. Have you thought about that? If they say I'm not good enough, that means I need to keep trying, especially something you're passionate about, especially something you know that this thing is you, but maybe because this person rejected you, put in some more effort. Look at it as a source of growth instead of being rejected. Johnny babes, good evening to you too. So I'm going to talk about some ways we can deal with rejection in a healthy and empowering way. So the first thing when you're faced with any kind of rejection at all, acknowledge your feelings, because we don't want to be in denial. Otherwise we will not be able to process things adequately. We'll be in denial when we're jumping processes, just jumping there. Okay, I'm good. Oh, it's behind me. And then somebody comes and says something and you're just all over the place. So we have to acknowledge what we're feeling. In that rejection, you may feel sadness, you may feel anger, you may feel resentment, you may feel even stupid, you may feel all sort of feelings. So it's important to let yourself feel that emotion that comes with that rejection. Don't push it aside, don't bottle it down. Just process it as raw as it is. So whether you feel sadness, whether you feel anger, whether you feel frustration, allowing yourself to process these feelings will help you heal. And the quicker you can process it, the faster you can heal. So bottling them will only lead to bigger problems down the line, because another rejection is waiting down the corner and you haven't dealt with this, you haven't processed it in a positive way, and then you get hit by another rejection. My goodness. Some people may actually pass out, as in literally pass out. But don't allow that, because like I said, in one's lifetime, there's so many kind of rejection we're going to face. And if we don't deal with it well, that's when you hear of somebody, they're like chronic depression, chronic anxiety and all of those things. So let's deal with it so that we can live a better life tomorrow, tomorrow. So don't bottle anything up, because other things will come and trigger that and you might just explode when you don't really want to. So another thing to look at is don't take it personally. You have to learn to detach from that rejection. Don't take it personally. So many times rejection is not a reflection of your worth. I need you to know that, guys. Many times that rejection is not a reflection of your worth. Imagine you finish school, first class, top of your class, you know your onions, you know everything about this profession and all of that. You've even gone for training, you've gone for placement, you have practical knowledge and all of that, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to apply for this job, and you applied for it. Some of us, that some people get 300 rejections. Unfortunately, at this time, unfortunately. And it's like one rejection after another. And it just makes you feel like, my goodness, I was top of my class. Does that mean I'm not good enough for that, professional field out there? No, it's not a reflection of your worth. I would just simply say, that's why I say don't take it personal. Look at it like it's their loss. That company, they don't know what they just missed. It's their loss, because you're good at what you do. Professionally, you're sound and all of that. So don't look down on yourself. The right company will take you on. It may take a while. It may take even a long while. But the right person, the right company, the right business, they will take you on. So don't lose hope. So it might just be about the timing. Maybe that timing is not just right, because some companies, maybe the first quarter of the year, that's when they employ people mostly, and then by the second quarter they're not really employing as such, and that's when you're applying for this job. So they have all the headcounts they need already. So that can even lead to rejection. You don't know this and you're feeling, I don't feel adequate. No. So it may be something beyond your control. don't fret about it. Don't take it personally. Dust yourself and move on to the next company. So try to see rejection objectively rather than letting it define your self-worth. You know you're good at what you do. The fact that 10 companies rejected you does not mean you're not good enough. So don't take it personally. You will find the right place that fits you, that will accommodate you, and appreciate what you're bringing on. Again, reframe the rejection. Reframe that rejection. Marley, I see you. Thanks for joining. So instead of seeing rejection as a failure, Zini, John, welcome. View it as feedback. Some people, they get rejected after an interview and then they dare to send an email to that company. I've done 3 stages and at the 4th stage you dropped me. I really like to know if there's any feedback you want to give me so that I can better prepare next time, as polite as possible. You'll be amazed. Most companies, they do that. Now they give you feedback. They will tell you maybe the reason why they had to cut you from that stage, because maybe they have better candidates and it even has nothing to do with your qualifications or your ability. So you never can tell. But if you don't ask them, so always try to reframe that rejection rather than allow it to sink in and bring the negative and all of that feelings. So view it as a feedback. And what can you learn from that situation? What can you learn from that rejection? If it's a relationship, you've been rejected and the explanation is not okay with you, it shouldn't be the end of you in any other relationship. Just look at that. Okay, sometimes it's good to self-reflect as well. You might just see the things that you didn't see before. Now they've cut the relationship. Your eyes is wide open, and use yourself. You must start saying 1 or 2 things like, oh, I didn't notice. I didn't know. Oh, thank God they called this relationship off. It might just be for your own good. But because you're feeling rejected, you're not looking at things objectively. So let's try and, practicalize that. So maybe there are areas for improvement, or perhaps it's an opportunity to find something even better suited for you. You never can tell. At least you know the things you see in this person. They've cut it off. By the time you're trying to go into another relationship, you know the red flags to look out for. So sometimes rejection redirects you towards that better opportunity, that better position, that better post. So don't look at it. Let's try to reframe that rejection. If you look deep inside, you will find some positive in there, even though you're still hurting. So again, build resilience. This one is either you have it or you don't have it. These are practical ways of overcoming rejection. So kind of build resilience, because you're not going to give up on life. You're not going to give up on your profession. You're just going to keep applying to these jobs here and there. It just keeps you going. So every time you face rejection, you have the chance to build resilience. You have that chance. So if you allow that to be like a source of growth, a source of building you into a better person, a better interviewee, or whatever it is. So it kind of helps you build resilience. So resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity. You quickly bounce back. You feel the emotion, you go through it, you say to yourself, eventually you have to come back to your senses. You have to come back to that positive place in order to move on past that rejection. So the more you practice bouncing back, the stronger and more capable you become. You find out that the next time you face even a bigger rejection, because you've been dealing and processing rejection adequately over time, it becomes a part of you. Like I said, it helps you build that resilience. And then another big one hits and you take it on like, it kind of shakes you, but you shake it off quickly because you've had practice over time. And then you process it positively, and then you move on. You move on from there, So like I say, the more you practice bouncing back, the stronger and more capable you become. And then you might even be a source of strength to somebody else around you that is feeling rejected as well. So another one I'm going to mention is stay connected with support system. Somebody rejects you, you're feeling all of that, somebody's going to help encourage you. That's just the bottom line of it. So talk to people who care about you and understand your value. Whether it's friends, whether it's families, or a mentor, staying connected with people who support you helps you to regain your confidence and keep perspective. Because if you don't have somebody pumping in those positive words, you're by yourself feeling rejected, all those negative thoughts, negative assumptions of you, how inadequate, you keep processing that, and over time you start losing sleep. Over time you're not even eating because you're taking it on too much. So be mindful. If you have anyone around you who gets you, especially in that profession, seek counsel with them, or just try to open up to them and let them talk some positive words into you so that you can quickly process that and move on from there. Mona, I see you. Thanks for joining. Again, focus on self-improvement, because sometimes we get rejected for real, guys, because we're not just adequate enough, maybe in our knowledge, in our ability, and also we may get rejected. But like I said, spin it around, reframe it, and if they give you feedbacks, don't look at it as they're pulling you down some more. Pick it up. If they say, okay, in terms of maybe practical knowledge, we don't feel you're adequate enough, and then you go, okay, what is the practicality to this profession or to this thing? Study more, find out more, ask questions, do your research, learn more. In that way you're improving yourself. So focus on self-improvement rather than the rejection. So rejection can be a great motivator to focus on your personal and professional growth. That is a positive spin to rejection. So take this time to sharpen your skills, develop new talents in the process if possible, or improve areas where you feel you can grow. Okay, self-care and self-improvement, it builds confidence and resilience. There is always a positive in there somehow. If you look deep down, it's not all about the rejection, but you can find positivity in there that will help you focus on self-improvement. So the fifth thing I'll mention is the power of acceptance. Ooh. The power of acceptance. So one of the most important aspects of dealing with rejection is learning to accept yourself, your inadequacies, your strength, your worth, your lacks, your shortcomings, everything in totality. So you won't be accepted by everyone. I said that earlier, and that's okay. Guys, it's okay. Everybody does not have to like you. But do you like you? That's the most important thing. So please, if you if you're not accepted somewhere, it's okay. It is okay. You might say, for me, I don't understand. I've toiled, I've labored, I've served, I've done, but it's okay. It's okay, because you are still who you are. It's their loss. Like, that's what I'll say. It's their loss. If they're not accepting you for who you are, it's their loss. So when you accept who you are, your strengths, your flaws, your uniqueness, you rely less on the approval of others. And that's it. And when you come out even stronger, they're like, this person rejected them, that person. And then you're still shoulders high, head high, and living life. It's their loss. Okay? You build this inner confidence, and rejection loses its sting. You don't even feel it the way they think, oh, I bet that will break them. And And the next day they see you back, heads high, bolder, stronger, more confident, and all of that. Oh my goodness. You best know who you are yourself. So when we understand that rejection is part of human experience, it helps us to move through it with grace and perseverance. So often the things that we feel like rejection in that moment turn out to be blessing in disguise. Most times. But we need to be able to find our way to that place. It's a place of blessing. Imagine, I know of someone who left like a contract job. It's like, oh, all the time, you know, when you're out of contract, you start sweating and all of that. And it's okay, they got a permanent job. Good. Okay, we're more secure now. Oh, we're fine and all of that. And in less than 3 years, the company packed up. Imagine. And then even before the company packed up, they're like, the latest recruit, no matter how many years it is, they're going to chase them off first. And they feel rejected, like, oh, but this person is still there. I'm their boss. Or that person, you know, you feel that rejection, but that should not be the end of you. It might be a blessing in disguise. That company is packed up and gone. Does that mean you're going to pack up, no work? You're not going to look for work again? Dust it off. Get over it. Get on out there and go get your job. Major, I see you. Thanks for joining. So some rejection may actually be blessings in disguise. And some people don't even know it's time for them to start their own private practice or their own business. And then that rejection led to you, you know what, I could actually start something. You have all the knowledge, you know what it takes. You call one person who's been in it, you know, you find mentors and all of that. Before you know the birth of your own business, you're going to be proud of yourself. So it could just be a blessing in disguise, that rejection. So it's not all bad, no matter how bad it sounds, you know. So again, the job you didn't get, the relationship that didn't work out, they may be leading you to something even better that aligns with your true purpose. We need to develop that kind of a mindset so that rejection will not, you know, break us down mentally, physically, emotionally. Oh, thank you, Major, and all of that. So it might just be a blessing in disguise. Have you actually thought about that? Put that in there as well. So anytime rejection comes, look at it like something better is just ahead. So that rejection is just a stepping stone to something better. Hello, Major. I hope you're good. So in the end, rejection is not a barrier, but a stepping stone. It's not a barrier, but a stepping stone. It's a momentary setback, a moment setback, not a permanent state of failure. But if you don't know how to deal with it, you might just make it a permanent state of failure. And that's why I'm here today to tell you, no, no, no. It's a momentary setback. It's not a permanent failure. So by embracing rejection as part of life and learning how to grow from it, you become stronger, you become wiser, you're more equipped to handle the challenges that will come your way. Because like I said, they never stop. Rejection will never stop coming your way. It could come in various forms like I've mentioned. So next time you face rejection, remember it's not the end, but rather the beginning of a new opportunity. Trust the process. Keep moving forward and know that you are worthy. I say that you are worthy no matter how many times you face rejection. You are still worthy. And the reason I brought this here is to impact us, you know, to have hope, to talk about these things. You know, like I said, sometimes you just have or put everything in there, bottle it up, and then you're going about the day and another one comes, you just bottle it up. You're not talking about it. You're not freeing your mind about this. You're not processing it in a positive way. Rather, negativity, negative thoughts, negative assumptions. You weigh yourself down. You look down on yourself and all of that. No. So I hope that, you know, in a way, talking about rejection here today, dealing with it, one or two things I've said has helped. And if you have other ways, you know, we can cope with it, we can see it for what it is, please feel free to send an invite, because we're going to be coming up and talking more about this. So like I said, rejection could be painful, but it is not the final word of our worth or our potential. So I hope that everyone is feeling encouraged enough to embrace their feelings, to see the bigger picture and use rejection as a tool for growth, okay, by promoting resilience, self-compassion, and continuous learning. My aim is to inspire us, our mindset to shift from fearing rejection to viewing it as a catalyst for personal evolution or personal success. That is the aim here. So don't look at it in the totality of rejection alone. Look at the positivity to it. Be compassionate to yourself. Deal with it. Learn to deal with it in a positive way, such that you quickly bounce back and you can live life again. It's not the end of you. It doesn't make you feel any less worthy. Please, no matter what is being said to you, no matter how useless somebody say you are, maybe you might be useless to them, but you're useful to somebody else. Always know that. So don't just be in that state of rejection, and then all sort of negativity start piling up, and then you're not okay mentally or even physically. So that is the end of my talk today. And the one question I'm going to ask us is rejection totally a bad experience? I wonder. Miss Independent, I see you. Bringing hope and make you feel alright. Double DD, I see you. Anobote for me, I see you. I see you. Thanks for joining. So, guys, in case you're just joining, you're welcome to Insight with FunmiRoyal this beautiful Monday, the day the Lord has made. Indeed, I'm rejoicing in it. I'm glad in it. I give God the praise for making me see another day. It's a privilege. One should be thankful. Every day we sleep and wake up, we ought to be thankful. So the topic today is dealing with rejection. I've tried to kind of expand it, the kind of rejections people might face in their lifetime and how to deal with it, in a positive way. Process it, deal with it, acknowledge the pain, the hurt, the feelings that comes with it. Don't bottle anything up. And if you feel you're not coping, by yourself, you can reach out to a friend who knows you better, who can put those positive words into you to help you overcome that feeling of rejection as well. So guys, send invite. Let's talk about this. If you have any questions, let's try here on Insight to attempt it. Or if you have any experience you want to share as far feeling rejected and how you were able to bounce back, please come and share with us today. Let's hear from you. So I'm going to bring us up, send an invite so I can bring you up. Let's talk about feeling of rejection. Or perhaps you are in this world, you have never faced rejection whatsoever. Please come and help us to understand. Because I want to believe that everyone at some point in time, they felt some sort of rejection or they've experienced it even. May Joy, good evening to you. How are you today?
I'm fine, sis. Good evening.
You're
Sorry,
welcome. Fine. You see?
thank you. My system is a little bit down, so I won't be long that much. It's just when I got the topic, it was quite interesting.
Oh, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Yeah, at least you're the first person in the box, so you can take all the time as long as the connection will stay. Let's see, guys.
All right.
Let's talk about this today. Yeah. So you can open the floor for us. What comes to mind when we talk about dealing with rejection? Or if you want to start
Yeah.
with the question, is rejection totally a bad experience? Is up to you, sis.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that question is. I think I should start with answering the question first before
Free.
I give a little contribution and then probably also an experience of rejection. So
Thank you. Thank
you
you.
know. Eh, to me, truly speaking, rejection at the moment may be very painful. But after a while, you will know. In short, you will tell God, thank you, I was rejected. I think that's just the truth. But at the moment, It
Yeah.
could be very painful.
Yeah.
It could be very demoralizing. You could feel so bad. And if you are suffering from complex
Ah.
or you having a complex problem, it will be very difficult for you to bounce back.
Yeah.
It will be very difficult for you to bounce back. But I bet you, rejection makes you stronger.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
makes you stronger. It makes you stronger. It makes you think deeper. If you don't fight it, because if you begin to look rejection in the positive direction, it will weigh you down.
Yes.
You won't grow.
Yeah.
That's the truth. You'll be weighed down. You'll just sit down and be pondering and thinking about a whole thing about your life and be thinking you have a problem.
Yeah.
You begin to ask yourself, what is actually the problem with me? You know, I know I've experienced that. You begin to x-ray your life. Is there anything I'm not doing right? Is there anything I've done that it looks as if, as in, maybe is God against me? You know,
Yeah.
most times I see rejection as God being silenced at the moment,
Wow. Okay.
watching you. Yeah, at the moment, most times we miss when you discover that this rejection that is happening to me at this point, God is being silenced. And for the fact that God is being silenced does not mean that He's not watching,
Yeah.
and does not also mean that He's not speaking. Because at that point, if you can you talk to Him, you will hear Him speak.
Yeah.
Like I was telling my kid, I told them that I asked them, okay, on a radio station, that we have so many radio stations and all the radio stations are broadcasting. But for
At the
the
same
fact that you
time.
don't tune, yeah, but for the fact that you don't tune to a particular radio station, you will not hear what they are saying. But for the fact that you are not hearing does not mean that the radio station is not broadcasting.
That's true. That's
So
true.
if you can tune to God at that point of rejection, He has something to say.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Most times God no is not always so sweet to us.
And no is
It's
an
not so.
answer. Major, no is also an answer.
No is an answer. No is an answer. No is an answer. You see, so most times when we feel rejected, it's a very painful experience, no doubt.
Definitely.
It's definitely a very painful experience. But if you know who you are, you understand, and you just take life to be okay, it does not have to be yes always. The no might be to my favor. And do you know there are some yes that is not to your favor?
Of course. Of course. For the
Yes,
fact
some
that it's a yes.
yes. Yes. For the fact that is a yes, after a while you just begin to regret. Why did this person even say yes? Because the trouble of the yes is even more
Yeah. Than the no, you should have just accepted.
than the no you should have just accepted.
Yeah.
You see, so most times I know it's a very painful experience, but if you are focused and you can look up to the master, most times when they say no, you go back to God. Daddy, I'm back again. No, I got it. No. Most times he will tell you, but I did not send you.
Yeah.
I wasn't with you. You went alone. Or like, I went alone. I said, you enter your shell back and you go back to him. What's the next step? It's not very funny trusting him, but it's worth it. That's the truth. So most times I will also advise that when we go through rejection, we should go back to God.
Yes. Yes.
He is, going back to God also means going back to the word, because that's his manual. That's his manual. I remember, let me give a little experience. You know, as a single mom, it's not always very easy. And I do a whole lot of things with my head. I want to do this business. I want to do
Yeah.
this. I want to do this. I want to do that. A lot of things. You want to do a whole lot of things to make ends meet. So there was a period I run a poultry farm, and the man was like, pay for the whole poultry farm. Okay, madam, I know you can manage my property. Okay, I
Mm,
want you to pay for the farm. I was like, this farm is so big. I don't know. Will I be able to have money to keep the numbers of birds?
mm,
My spirit was like, pay. So at that point, I hadn't money. It was crazy.
mm,
I was calling almost everybody I know. I was like, I beg God, this money is too small now. Unlike me, it's not that difficult for me to raise. So why is it that I am getting a no from every corner? What is happening? I came back to the house. So one day I went to the market. I was so confused. I was like, God, and I can't sell the birds that are there because the birds are not mature for me to sell.
wow.
I was thinking, what on earth will I sell what are the things I will have to sell? Okay, I sell fairly thrift clothes too. I was not looking for people that will come and collect from my house. I do from there to come and collect. No way. I was like, God.
Wow.
And there's this friend, she's not really a friend. I think we attend the same fellowship. I
Okay.
called her. She was always calling me half. I called her. She was like, no, nothing. No. I even dropped something on your DM that period. I dropped something on your DM too. I was like, what is happening? Ma,
Mm,
do you know how that money came? The money came, and after a while, I was like, thank God this woman did not give me this money. There were like three people. I was like, thank God these people did not give. When I called Pastor was like, go and kneel down and thank God that these people. I now knew their no was for my favor.
wow.
Because the next thing I heard, it was like, this woman came and asked me for money for her daughter's school. As in, it was like broadcasting the round people, I've done this, I've done this, I've done. I say, hey, so my name would have been among these people. Do you know
Wow.
how many people she must have gone around to tell about what you understand? Immediately there was a woman, we went to fellowship together. The woman left. I was still there. She was like, okay, see, last time she came to ask me for her children's school fee. I said, Jesus,
Wow.
Mary, so your name would have been among the list of people. Okay, now you don't know me so much, and you are telling me all this,
Wow.
and you are pointing at these people. How do you expect? And we are all in the church
Together.
together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, thank you. This help did not come from this. you know, at
Mm.
that point, it was very painful. But now I am
Bitter
so
sweet.
excited. You
Bitter sweet.
understand?
Mm.
You understand? So it's like a bittersweet experience. So most
Mm.
times rejection, if I tell you rejection is sweet, is a very big lie. But if we can take, if we can take a very deep breath, drink
Mm.
water, lie down, talk to God,
Mhm.
and you just discover that the way it will happen, it will be so easy. And then you
Yeah.
begin to ask yourself, I've been hitting my head. Oh God, why didn't you show me it? Yeah, he will tell you you didn't ask. You
Oh.
were trying to work things. Yeah. You were trying to work things out your way.
Mm.
So I think that's my own little contribution and experience.
Yeah. Yeah, rejection could be a bittersweet experience. It's one of the things I said that
Right.
when you're going through it, it's so hard. It's like the end of the world. Hey, this
Yeah, you're
person,
right.
you just feel all this negativity because they keep saying no, no, no. What if that no is
Exactly.
your favor, just like Mayjoy has explained? And it's one of the things I mentioned. Look at it as God loves us more than we love ourselves, I'm
Much.
telling you. And then when
Much.
you go to somebody to ask for something, are you ready in your mind to hear a yes, in your mind to hear a no, in your mind to hear maybe?
No.
Because we want something, or we need this thing, or we want to do something, and of course we're positive, we want to pursue this and achieve something, and then maybe we don't have the capacity to achieving it, and we need help. And for the fact that this person, they've been doing that thing for donkey years, does not mean when you go to them, they'll say, yes, I will help you. They might just say, no, I don't have the time, or no, I can't help you. and you feel rejected, but this person, you thought they were your friend, you thought this, not knowing that that thing they're doing, they're even in trouble themselves. They're like, this person does not know the trouble I'm going through, they want to come. You never can tell. You never can tell because they're not bold enough to explain the hazards, all the thing they're going through, they're neck deep in debt or whatever. They'll just be like, no, I
Right.
can't help you. And you will go like, this person just rejected me. This person, this,
Yeah.
no. So don't always look at rejection like rejection in totality. Try to be open-minded, just like May Joy said. Be open-minded. Why? There's a reason why they've rejected you. And the fact that this person even said no, another person might be succeeding in it. And until major leads find a way
Yeah.
to this person, and before you even ask, they say, Major, do you want to do this? And you're like, oh my God, I'm just even coming to say, and now you've even, so you never can tell. But if you're going to this person struggling, they will project their struggling onto you. And then you will lose hope
You're
in
right.
business before you even start, not knowing that you've gone to
Right.
the wrong person. So in all of it, what we're saying is it's painful because imagine you're so passionate, you can't even sleep, you're excited and all, and somebody just kills that excitement just because they've rejected
Yeah.
you. Should that be the end
Yeah.
of that passion? Should that be the end of this project? Should that be the end of that thing? It should not even be the end of you. Because some people, like I said, it's painful. Like I said, when I was rounding up, it's very painful. There's nobody that is rejected and say, I'm so happy I feel rejected.
Really rejected.
It will hit you, especially when it's from a very close friend or a trusted person. We just expect all the time to say yes, yes, yes. I have many experiences I can even share with us, and it should not be the end of us. That's what I'm saying. You have to learn to bounce back because there's still more in you. You are worthy. You are worthy of that business. You are worthy of that role. You are worthy of that promotion. For the fact that they didn't give it to you now does not mean they won't give it to you. I worked in one company some years back, and I was a contractor. And the rule, so to say, is after 11 months, you are contracted with this company. They will take you on if they want you to be a permanent staff. So I was so hardworking, my very self. Bible says, whatever you find doing, do it well. So I put in all of that. And whilst I was in there, it's every three months, they kind of renew three months until you get 11. By the 11th month, if the company does not sign you on as a permanent staff, then you have to go. You have to wait another 6 months before you can even come back as a contractor. I hope my story, you're understanding me. So I
Yeah.
was there doing, and then by the time I was 3 months, I had to renew the contract. So when the new people comes, because I have some sort of knowledge about the work, and some will be lost, they won't know what to do. I just took it upon myself. I said, okay, don't worry. I see you're struggling. This. I just showed them. Not that they're paying me for that. I just did because I saw somebody struggling. I didn't know this manager was looking at me from afar. I didn't know. I was just doing my thing. And then at the 11th month, this manager did not even call me to say, okay, I have a contract, permanent job for you or anything. My prayer that last one, I said, Father Lord, in fact, this manager is sometimes we pray some dangerous prayer. He should not have peace until he gives me my job. I have heard, I just was bombarding God. I felt rejected. Like, so this 11th month will just go like that. They won't give me the role, the permanent role. I felt so rejected. And guess what, Mayjoy? On the last day of my 11th month contract, I just logged off the computer. The manager walked up to me and you be careful the prayers you pray, or people be careful the prayers you pray, except you don't mean it, don't pray it. But if you desire it, God according to his will for you. So this manager just approached me and said, oh, Funmi, I'm so sorry. In my mind, I'm like, sorry about what? Sorry, you want to not even stamp the rejection. I was so like, I was angry, but I had to comport myself. And he said, I'm so sorry, I left it too late. I'm like, please talk to me. What are you talking about? I need to understand. He said, oh, He thought I was still coming back. He didn't realize the 11th month had, come. And he now even
That's
helped me some more. He said, look, I'm sorry I left your contract late, as in to give me a permanent job. My heart was like, God, I knew it, but I tried, I knew, I just kept my calm. And he said, what is going to happen is you're going to have a meeting with your agency and they will offer you just 1 more month to complete like a year. He said most time people don't come back because they feel they didn't give you the permanent job. What's the point of 1 month to come and do what? He said, you know what? Go to that meeting. Once they give you the contract for 1 month, you just sign. That 1 month, I'll use it to process your permanent job. Hey, I said, Lord, thank
wow.
you. I'm telling you. Look at me, feeling so. Imagine I switch off the thing and he was trying to beckon. I just say bye bye. I just walk away because imagine.
Hey.
And that was it. See, when I went to that meeting, I did not hear anything. I was waiting for when they will bring the form. I did not just give me the form. I did not even read. I just filled the form. They just said, in case you're not aware, this is 1 month contract, and that's it. You can't come back until I say, you don't worry, just let me sign. And I signed it. Of course, I had to go back. This man in 2 weeks processed everything. I was just reading documents, signing everything. He took me on, and I became a permanent staff. I mean, after working so hard there. So sometimes that rejection is not all bad in it. That's why the way we process things. And I'll tell you the sweetest part of this. This manager, I didn't know that. I said he was watching me. After 2 weeks that I became a permanent staff, guess what? He called me to the office. He now was telling me what he saw me doing. He said for the longest
Wow.
time, we didn't have a training coordinator on this shift. Would you like to be our new training coordinator? I just got a
Oh my
permanent job,
God.
promotion. Imagine I'd walked away feeling rejected. I would have lost double.
Rejection.
So I became, and it was, people were not happy. They're like, when did Fumi come that you're offering her? We've been here for years and years. I was shocked. The co-workers took my manager to a meeting and was challenging him. Hey, guys, be careful. That's why we need to process things appropriately, positively, because otherwise we will miss other opportunities that we ought to see in that place of rejection. And they all
Yeah.
challenged my manager. Guess what? My manager just went upstairs to his office and brought out my file. He said, look at all the suggestions Fumi has been giving me while she was a contractor. She was doing this, doing this. All of you have been in this office for the last 5 years. You guys have not written one thing. And he said all of them kept quiet. See the way God was making me
Wow.
shine. And guess what? I was not at that meeting. So when I came into my shift, I saw that everyone was quiet. I didn't know there's someone, my manager, to one inner room. And then the other manager from the other building came and said, Fumi, come with me. So I went to his office. He said, what have you done to your co-workers? I said, I'm lost. I don't understand what's going on. He said, right now they're having a forced meeting with your manager. I'm like, really? Why? They're challenging him why he gave me the training coordinator job. I'm like, eh? So, guys, look, God fought for me. I stayed there and I had to retrain all of them, certify them. They were not happy. They were grudgingly doing everything. But
You have to say.
what am I trying to say? For the fact that I felt that rejection, I said 11 months of my life, nothing, nothing, just like that. I was so angry. I was so feeling rejected. I thought I put in the effort because they kept renewing my contract. If I was that bad, they won't renew it the first or second time. All of those
Yeah.
negative thoughts coming to my mind, not knowing that, that's where God was going to take me. So, guys, please, your situation might not be the same as mine. Like I mentioned, it could be a relationship that the person just broke off. Some will even give you an explanation, some may not give you explanation. Instead of feeling, your word is over, no, let's be positive. Maybe God has just saved you from a marriage that is doomed even from the start. You never can tell because you force it, and then you get married, and in less than 2 years, you're looking for divorce. Imagine not knowing that that person saved you a lot. God is bringing your own person that, in fact, it will be like it's too good to be true. But because of that rejection, you don't want to accept it. You just want this thing by all means or whatever, and then you get into trouble sometimes. So, guys, let's be
Maybe
joyful.
over my experience.
I'm telling you, these things is not as it is. How we deal with it, how we handle it. Get feedbacks when you get rejection. I don't know, somebody was saying some time ago, said, I can tell you that I sent out CVs to about 300 places. Not a single one came back to say, come for interview. And then, this person came out to give testimony. And then after doing that, she thought, maybe I should redo my CV. Maybe I
I
should change
did
it.
to that testimony in NSPPD. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I
no,
did.
no, no, no.
Somebody
Not
gave
even.
testimony like in
No, no, no.
NSPPD too.
Oh, something similar, you see. And then this
Yeah,
person said,
something similar in
out of
NSPPD.
the blues, they got a call to come for an interview. And then they traced that company. It was none of where she sent the CV. And she was like, this maybe it's fake, or maybe it's fake. When when positive comes out of rejection, you almost be doubting even. She just said, well, what has she got to lose? She went for the interview. And then the first phase, the second phase, like, I didn't even apply to this place. How come they got your CV somehow? So that means this company is where God is really preparing for you. Even though she didn't even apply there. And eventually she got the job. It said out of about maybe 30 people, she was the 5 people that they picked, one of the 5 that they picked for the job, which she never applied to. So when you're
God
rejected,
is
I'm telling you, God is faithful. I don't know what your situation is. Where have you felt so rejected and rejected? Sit down and properly analyze it. You will be amazed at what you will see. Because that pain is clouding your judgment. That resentment will cloud your judgment. And that's why we're here to challenge one another to look at rejection with a different eye. And you will be amazed at what you will see. You say, wow, thank God I didn't do this. Thank God thank God they even rejected me. Imagine you
God
saying,
is
thank God they rejected you. And that is what can happen. And then you will now find your own place or your own company where you fit in well. In fact, you don't even have to do extra work, they just accept you. So being rejected is not for you to say you're not worthy of that role, or you're not good enough, you're not adequate enough, or you don't have enough experience, or whatever it is. No, it's painful when you feel rejected, but please, let's look beyond that pain. Look beyond it. Because what is yours will not pass you by. That much I believe. What is yours will not pass you by. So thank you so much, Major. Thank you for your contribution as well. Mrs. Williams, if you can.
you just said.
Yeah, yeah.
There was something you just said that triggered something in me.
Oh, I hope it's.
And I believe it will help 1 or 2 persons, and even those in the FYP, it might just help somebody. When you say that thing, you said maybe like in the marriage, like in my experience, in my own, okay, something happened. When my ex came to my pastor, he told me plainly, he said, Sister Mary, this man will not be able to take care of you. You will have problems. I said, no. When the pastor was saying no, I saw the red flags.
Wow.
With my eyes wide open, I saw the red flags. But at that point, there were 2 things that was happening to me. My kid sister was married already, and I felt I was getting to 27.
Wow.
And my younger sister was already married at a very tender age too. She had like 2 children. Okay, she had a child then and was pregnant for the second one. All those things were flashing. Pastor said, no, relax. I said, I died there. Do you know that we were not blessed in my town? Normally, they will carry you to the front and pray for you because the wedding was not done there. The wedding was done in Calabar. I was in Ogoja.
Oh, okay.
They didn't bless us in Ogoja. They didn't pray for me in the church. We're supposed to come out there. But then nothing like that was on. The pastor rejected. He said he can't do it because his spirit is saying he shouldn't do it.
Wow.
I say, this man is wicked.
Aww.
This man is wicked. After 14 years, what happened? I don't know if you understand. So now at this point, will you blame God?
No, no,
You
no,
will
no.
not. See,
Mhm.
if there is anything between man and God,
Mm,
please exonerate God. The fault is
please.
from the man.
Oh, yes, definitely.
The
Definitely.
fault is from I never like that. I think that's one thing that has ever helped me. There's no mistake. There's nothing that happens to me. The first thing I do, I surrey my life. Man, what did you do that this thing did not work? It's
Mm,
not God. God has given you everything.
yeah,
And God also gave you brain to think so that he can rest.
yeah.
So when I thought of it that much, I told my kid, I said, no, God is not to be blamed. I am to be blamed
That's right.
because I saw everything. I got myself involved. So
Mm.
I am not saying I'm suffering it. I will suffer it. No, because my
I
dear
know.
sister, you see this thing. If
You see,
we
sometimes
today,
we learn the hard way.
the hard
Don't
way.
want to, but we learn the hard way when we're seeing. Um, in fact, I do understand. I do perfectly understand you. And
My
imagine.
dear,
Yeah, go on.
I said today, God is me and you, my relationship with you. At this point, I don't joke with my relationship with God again.
That's the
I said,
thing.
well, I said, do with me. In short, for this one, I said, no, 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 no. I will not joke again. I've made this one. I don't want it to repeat itself again. And it's just making me to pour out on the kids. Trust God, wholly. You
Yeah.
know?
Thank you.
Ah, my dear, let me
Wow.
not talk.
One beaten forever shy. Thank you so much, Major, for
You know?
sharing. Yeah, it's as crucial as that. When everything, your intuition, even if you're not a believer, something in you is telling you, don't do this.
It's telling you don't do this.
Please.
Ah,
There's a reason why God gave us that gift to be able to discern, to be able to discern. And the fact that there's even a spiritual authority saying this is not good for you, and you just want what you want because you want it or you need it, so to say. And imagine, and it could be in other aspects of life as well. Some people, they're in this profession that they don't care about. They're just in it because, and sometimes when you ask them, they've gone to school to study law, but they really wanted to do medicine. Maybe because of parental pressure or peer pressure or whatever pressure, they're just doing that to fulfill, and they're not fulfilled. And then they're not putting their best into it. So they're not getting that promotion because they're not just in it. You get me? Why not just leave it and pursue your own thing? Stop feeling rejected, dejected in that place. Because when there's life, there is hope, as they say, and there's still time to pursue whatever you need to pursue. So when this person says no, what am I trying to say? Don't let people make you do what you don't want to do. And in the midst of what is this section of the Bible that says there is counsel in the midst? I'm trying to remember how it is put. Something in the multitude of counsel there
how
is
many
On the
did
field,
okay
in the
in a
multitude of
multitude
counsel.
of counsel?
there is safety. So
Yes, safety,
even if
yeah.
your conscience is telling you, your intuition is telling you no, and you're struggling with it, and then even sometimes somebody you don't know will tell you that thing you want to do, don't do it. They can't put words to it, or they just tell you don't do it, and you know instantly that it resonates with what you yourself are feeling. But because you want to
You
have your cake and have it, like they don't know what they're talking about, even you know yourself, you don't even know what you're talking about. And you just feel like, and then somebody else, now imagine your spiritual father telling you, I've prayed, except they're misleading you. Why are you in that church in the first place? If they cannot have
why are you in that church?
exactly. So you yourself, So when the things start going pear shaped, that's when you're not honest with yourself. Had I known, had I known, had I known is a big, big regret.
It's after a month, oh. 1 month after the wedding, I said I am leaving. 1 month.
Wow, May.
1 month. So I was asking myself,
You
one
mean
month.
wait,
Then I
wait, wait. You
asked
mean
myself,
1 year?
I said 1 month after the wedding, that was when I packed my load. I said I am leaving. He said,
Wow.
please give me time, I will change. Give me time, I will change for 14 years.
Oh my goodness.
For that 14 years, it was like hell. When I told my mom almost beat me up because I'm this kind of person that I don't know, I don't like talking. I just feel okay, let me
You bottle it
struggle
up.
and see how it will work out. The only time I just had to open up to my mom, I was like, mama, I don't hope. That was when I now had to open up everything. The woman said, Jesus. He said, I said, the only thing that has kept you is just your love for God. If not, you'd have been long gone.
Mm,
I said it was 1 month when I entered, 1 month. I said,
wow.
Kai, guy, I've made the greatest mistake of my life. Let's call this off.
I'm so
Let's
sorry to
call
hear
this.
that, okay, but thank you for sharing
Then,
because people need to
then
hear
kids
some
were not
hardcore truth.
involved.
Yeah. Wow.
Then kids were not involved. And now living with 2 kids. But when I look at them, I'm so happy and fulfilled. That's just my joy. And my joy is that the kids are with me. He has tried to carry them. They are saying no, they want to be with their mom. That's my greatest joy. Looking at them, most times when I look at them, I say I can't call it a mistake because you are all I've ever. When I
Oh.
look at the children, it gives me
Oh, thank
just,
you.
just.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I'm so glad that you're smiling. I mean, I can't see you, but at least I can hear you smiling and you're able to share now. If it's still something you haven't dealt with or processed, you probably won't be able to share here.
This, I was almost going mad. Right
I
now,
can
it's like a
imagine.
story.
But you had to go through the
That is
process
like,
of healing to get to this place of healing.
going through the process of healing wasn't funny, but thank God I came out strong.
Thank God.
Thank God I came out strong. Seek therapies that was able to
Okay,
clear up a
Oma.
whole lot of things. I
Thank
could just talk about it now and laugh and encourage people, talk to young people. I say, no, do my mistake. When I'm talking, I'll be like, I say, no, I'm just laughing, but don't try it. It's not sweet.
One thing I hear even pastors will say sometimes is your mess is your message. Your
Yeah, you're right.
So look at it as maybe God wants to birth something. Maybe your passion will be to go out there, young single ladies, single men, tell them to not ignore red flags because it's their life we're talking about here. Don't ignore red flags. Don't don't like what you know you won't like. I don't know how else to put it.
That's the
So
truth,
you never
though.
can tell. It's just sad. And that's why I said sometimes some people learn the very hard way,
Yeah.
but still should not be the end of you. Just like we can hear May Joy, she's bounced back from it. It's been years of pain and all of that. You heard her, but she's still here. She's the one telling you her story. So if you're facing this right now, just know that it's not the end of you. If May Joy can overcome it, you also can overcome, no matter what that rejection is, no matter what that non acceptance is. So please, guys, this is an appeal to all of us. So thank you so much for sharing. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Tayot C, I hope that's how to pronounce your name. Good evening, you're welcome. I see you, Omar. You said, sorry, my connection is not good. Okay. But you can send an invite. If I bring you in, we will know if it's not. But sometimes these things, you never can tell. So we can try, but otherwise it's fine. Thank you for joining still. So Tayotsi, I'm going to come to you. But before I do, I need to tell us my puzzle for today. I have come again with my puzzle, just to kind of calm the program, really. So my puzzle, I'm going to leave it out there, is why do we, it's a funny one, why do we have to be quiet in church? Why do we have to be quiet in church? Okay, so that's my puzzle. If you know the answer, type it in, or you can come send an invite. I bring you into the box and you tell us the answer and you get the gift for today. Why do we have to be
Because we are in the
strong?
presence of God.
You say?
Because we are in the presence of God.
You this Bible scholar. No, so when you're at home and you're not in the presence of God, no, that's not the answer. But keep trying. I know. Tayoti, you might want to attempt the puzzle first, or let's hear your contribution about this topic today, dealing with rejection. And the question that I asked today is rejection totally a bad experience? So you can start anywhere, at least I've given you so many options. So let's hear you, Tayoti. Thanks for joining. I hope you're
Hey,
good.
Steve, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
You're welcome to Insight.
Yeah, great show, great show. I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You said is rejection a bad thing. There's I mean, it's not everybody that has developed.
Okay, Major, I'm just going to mute you for a second. Thank you.
So it's not everybody that has developed a thick skin to deal with rejection.
True.
Sometimes you're in a particular place and some people want to make you feel less of yourself. They want to gang up against you, or they just don't like you. But if you have developed that capacity to be strong, because in life, I mean, you got to also be a lone ranger when you realize that some people want to force you into their mold, and if you refuse to play ball, I mean, to do things the way they want you to do it,
Yeah.
they can start to
Exactly.
tag you as oh, it's the odd one out. But sometimes in life it's needed. If you realize that what they are doing doesn't agree with your value, you just want to be by yourself. But there's a there's a good side of rejection though.
Okay.
It helps you to work on yourself. It helps you to develop yourself. It helps you to focus on your own assignment. And there's something I realize: it's only a fool that proves. When you focus on yourself, you focus on your purpose. Those that have rejected you now will start coming back to be your friend. You know, and that's the good side of rejection. You can use it to your own advantage. But it's not everybody that is strong, that is tough. There are many people that will collapse like a pack of cards when they are being rejected. you know um Someone can reject you that because of your your maybe your boldness. They can reject you because you are too confident. Someone can even reject you and say that you are too short. I can't marry a short person. That's you know. I remember there was this lady I was chasing bars. I mean back in the days. And she was like, oh, you know what? I said, why are you not accepting my proposal? And she said, every lady likes a guy that is tall.
All dark and handsome, yeah.
And I was like, oh, so you mean God is telling you to reject me? God is saying I'm a bad guy, right? And she laughed. And after I left the place, I felt so sad for just few minutes, because I'm like, so because of this, that's why you're rejecting me. And but I've always been somebody that is confident in the gifts that I've got, in my own potential. I actually thought I was taller than that until she said that to me. you know.
I'm glad you're laughing about it now
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. I know, but it wasn't. It wasn't a laughing matter then. This is
oh, I can
over.
imagine,
It's
yeah.
over, maybe over 2 decades now. But but
And
but
you
but one thing I realized is that when people say stuff,
fine, you're
and
welcome.
when some people have not trained their mouth, they can run you down. They can run. You can lose sight of your purpose because of what people say. To be honest, Because, for instance, when somebody say that, oh, you are too short, or you are too fat, you are too this, you are too, that's their own perception. But
Wait, who is this person talking? I think I know who you are. Is that you? Oh my god! Oh my god! And
yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Oh my god! Good evening, sir. Oh
Yes, ma'am.
my goodness. I'm like, this sounds like someone. I'm like, oh no, no, it has to be. Welcome, sir. Oh my
Yes, ma'am.
goodness.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
full of words. Okay.
Great show. Great show. I'm loving it, to be
Thank
honest.
you.
I'm loving it.
Wow, good to have you
And this is
here.
where we can bear it all out,
Yeah.
unashamed, of that we can
Thank you for
be,
joining. Thank you.
be free to talk and share, and people are watching all over the world. To be honest, the rejection is a plan of the enemy. When somebody says, oh, you are not good enough, you are this, you are not nice, you are, you see, you know, there are people that have gone through certain experiences in life, maybe their upbringing or stuff like that, and then they want to import that into how they deal with you, how they relate with you. And I've realized that when people say bad stuff about us, until they encounter us, people will not know that, oh, this person is actually a nice person. But when someone have rejected you, when they've said something bad about you, it's not everybody that have developed that maturity to be able to see you in the right, with the right eyeglasses.
Yeah.
That, you know what, even though somebody said this person is not good, but I'm not going to see that person like that. It doesn't mean they are not good. And one thing I've realized is that people that we have rejected have got so much, latent in their life, in their spirit, in their strength. Is this potential, or is this hidden treasure that will even benefit our lives? But once we start to believe what people say about another person, it shows that we're not mature. Because we've got to see the good side of people. In fact, when somebody is got weaknesses, or they've got something that we don't really like, they also have another thing that we can admire.
Yeah.
You
Very
understand?
true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Because to be honest, I've realized that it could be someone's upbringing, it could be because they've experienced something in life, that's why they are who they are now, but they still have another side to them. But it's always good to see the best out of people. I mean, that takes me quickly to a story of someone who in that community, people have tagged him as, Mr. Nice. Mr. Nice is always saying good thing about people. He's always saying nice, even when somebody is bad. He's always saying the good out of them. So there was this terrible guy that died. Everybody in the community knows that he's a very horrible guy. So when they all attended the burial, and then they were paying their last tribute, and people were walking around the coffin and stuff like that. And this man, everybody was now waiting to see what he was going to say about that bad man.
Wow.
And it just got to the place, just say, he's got a very nice set of teeth. meaning, meaning there's something
There's still good in
that's still
him.
good. And why we can reject people is because we did not make them.
No.
We don't have the capacity to make human beings, or to or for instance, it's like when you see someone and say, oh, this person is too short, or this person is too fat. And that person that you say is too fat can help your destiny, can help your
Hey.
your potential thrive and stuff like that. So until we see people with the eyeglasses of God, we will start to play the ministry. We'll start to fulfill the ministry of the devil, and the ministry of the devil is rejection. The ministry of the devil is to make people feel low of themselves. The ministry of the devil is is when somebody just when people just gang up against someone, and they do and do you know why we've got to be very careful
No.
to to help those that are rejected, or to even help ourselves, is because many people that have graduated from anxiety, depression, and moved to suicide is because people, they felt rejected, they felt they felt unwanted,
Mm.
you know and over time, when people start to tell them that, okay, you are not good enough, you are not this, you are not that, there's a lot of suicide that happens around us.
I
In
know.
fact, there was one time my kids were coming from school, and they said, oh, there's been a delay, someone jumped in front of the train.
Oh
you
my
know
goodness.
and that happened. I remember, as my miss is also as a medical person. There's one time like that. She came back. She would just be depressed or crying. I remember, the early stage when she started, and there was this handsome, Caucasian, very handsome boy who just felt rejected in the house and went to throw himself in front of the train. He didn't die, but he lost a leg. So my thing, my take is for us to also be there for those that are rejected. Apart from us dealing with rejection, there are people that we can also help out of a rejection. And how we can do that is by pointing out their strength,
Yeah.
by telling them that, oh, yeah, 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 okay, you know wow. you know I remember that, even for people to be able to communicate, to be able to talk, when we start to run them down, you see that somebody that should be able to hold a simple conversation won't be able to do so, because they feel rejected.
They've
you know I,
lost confidence. Yeah.
yeah, because their confidence is shattered. I remember there was a while ago. It was, I mean, some maybe like good 15 years ago. I can't remember now. I used to be Metropolitan Police Choir Director, and then I was introduced to the team by the wife of the late Pastor Tayo Adeyemi. Pastor Tino Adeyemi. Now she's also late now. And there was a particular lady, horse has there's accent, regardless of how we try to switch our accent. Fine, we get to certain places, we can switch and then
Yeah.
talk, and change our accent. But there's this here, this strong accent that comes every now and then when we are like, by herself. So there's this particular lady. She's, she just walked up to me and said, "Hi, it's quite amazing how you are able to address everybody. Those in uniforms. Accountant. It was at St James's Park there, the New Scotland Yard. And then that was when it just suddenly dawned on me that I can help this lady. There's this CD I used to listen to in my car. Back then, by Stephen Covey,
Okay.
the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So it was on CD. So I just bought the two CDs, and I handed it to the woman. Because she kept saying that, I can't do what you're doing. I can't talk to everybody. I can't, and it was very easy for me to do, because we do that in church. We do that. It was like second nature to us to just talk maybe at the Riaza or something like that. So so that I don't take all our time. I mean, the
Yeah.
thing is just to be there for people. Even if you realize that somebody stammers, they can't talk, that's another area that God helped me. With I used to be a very chronic stammerer.
Wow.
And it was very bad that you would nearly you would nearly slap somebody before you could talk. Those type of stammering.
Wow.
Then
Amazing.
yeah, then and then God healed me. To be honest, I've got to say that boldly. It was a Bible study
Super
evening. We
sure.
just finished, and I realized that we just finished from was back in the 90s. We just finished the church service, and I realized that I could talk. So I started telling my friend, I can talk. But sometimes when I say agitate, blah, 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 I get into that. So, but
Yeah.
thank God that somebody who used to stammer became a TV host, became a media person, and sometimes,
Please. You know what? Let's connect to one another here, please. I will find you and I will connect with you. Let's follow one another. It's a safe platform to do
Yeah.
that. So let's connect.
Yeah.
You need to connect with Tayot C. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. I'm
Thank you,
gonna
sis.
just say to you guys, he's a producer. He's a anything media, anything like presentation,
Wow.
packaging your music.
Thank
You know,
you.
you have an album, you've been hiding somewhere, please reach out to him. He's got this beautiful studio, especially
Thank
for
you.
those in the UK. Even if you're not in the UK, he's always there to,
Yeah.
do the thing. That's him.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very much.
so much. Thank you
Wow.
so much for that.
That is
For the fact that somebody does not like you because you're short, wait for your person. If you see my beautiful sister, this man,
and guess
hey,
what? And guess
he
what? And guess
carry us to the market, as they say. Please.
so as a reward. So when God realized that somebody insulted me that I wasn't that tall, then God gave me somebody that's slightly taller. So it's become fashion to have somebody taller than
I mean,
You
I
see,
bet you don't even see
frankly,
that anymore. It's been how many years, bros? No, it's been how
and
many
then
years?
guess what? It's like I also grew taller a little bit.
Oh, oh, thank you so much. So please, let's follow one another. Please follow Tayotsi. You will never regret it. I bet you that. So
Really
I'm
appreciate
coming
it.
thank you so much, sir. So I'm going to say my puzzle again for those in the box already. I've come again with my puzzle. May has tried, she's tried to attempt it, but no. If I laugh, you haven't gotten it right. If I clap, then you've gotten it right. So you get the gift for today. So the puzzle is, why do we have to be quiet in church? Why do we have to be quiet? It's a funny one. So don't overthink it. Don't start bringing up Bible quotations now. Why do we have to be quiet in church? If you know the answer, type it in there or send an invite. Come into the box, tell us, and I give you your gift straight away. No wasting of time. So I'm going to come to, I think the way people entered now, I'm not sure whether it's okay. I'll just come to Pastor Aigu. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you are good. We'd love to hear from you about this topic, dealing with rejection. If there's a question, if there's another angle to it, we just want to hear from you so that everybody can learn. Everybody has come from different backgrounds with different experiences, and that's what's always good. On Inside, we'll learn from one another. And the question that I pose out there is rejection totally a bad experience? You could start with that as well. So it's up to you. You're welcome, sir. We'd love to hear from you. Pastor.
Very good evening, everyone.
Evening.
It's lovely. It's lovely to be a part of this.
Lover of good things. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you're okay. I'm so sorry, sir. Lover of good things.
You said what?
No, somebody just put something that I won't be able to participate today. I just survived a car accident. Oh my God. I give that shout to glory to God that you're safe. Oh, I hope you're okay, sir. I'm in the hospital now. Oh my God. And he still joined. My goodness. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much, sir. I hope you're okay. I really, really hope you're okay. It is well. All right. All right, sir. I will reach out after you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. And I wish you well. I hope the doctors you're in good hands and God Almighty will restore you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, sir. So sorry, Pastor, for cutting you.
Somebody just ran into me from a red light.
Wow.
It's only God that saved me.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
It's on red light, he just ran into me.
I hope you are not hurt, sir.
Huh?
I hope you are not hurt in any way.
No. I just checking up for taking the routine.
Just to be sure.
I came out alive. I came out
Thank
well.
God. We thank
But
God.
the car was a write-off.
Hey, yeah, it
I
is
came
well.
out myself. I walk out.
Thank God for that.
We thank God for
I'll
safety.
reach out. Thank God for safety. Yeah, I'll reach out
Yeah.
after the live, sir.
Epele.
It's good to pray. This night, something just woke me up and I started praying.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank God. Thank God
Happy
for life.
survivor, sir.
Thank you.
So
Happy
I
Thank
wish
you,
everyone
survivor.
to do
God.
well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You still joined. I mean, I feel so blessed right now. Thank you so much, sir. I really, really
You are
appreciate
welcome.
it.
You are welcome.
God
Hello,
bless
Hello.
you.
my
How are
name
you?
is Janet. I want registration. I'm gonna verify some information before I discharge you, okay?
Okay.
Your date of birth was 11/17/1957.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right,
Bye.
sir. God
For
bless.
me, you can mute him.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh my goodness. Wow. Guys, in case you don't know, lover of good things, he knew me since my teenage age. We used to work together in my media, world back in the day. So you can imagine, he's always there to encourage and support. So please just help me pray that God will perfect all that concerns him. God has even done that anyways, and I'm so blessed that he even managed to log in today. Because sometimes I can't say I'm at work. I'll just support and these are the kind of people we want in our lives. So I feel rejected now. I know who I can call. He's one of the many people God has surrounded me with. And I pray that God will really perfect all that concerns you, sir. Thank you so much for
Amen.
staying logged in.
Amen.
Thank
Amen.
you. I'm just in awe right now. But it is well. Pastor, I'm so sorry we're coming to you. We're coming to you now. Thank you for your patience.
No, well, we thank God for everything. We thank God for safety. We thank God for keeping him and sustaining him. We thank God that he's all right. It could have been a different story, but we give God all the glory. We give him all the glory. So we're talking about rejection. I came in late, but I was able to pick the line.
Okay.
Mr. Tayo
Yeah.
said a lot. He has really said a lot. I want to look at it from scattered points,
Okay.
so that we'll be able to first let's look at it from the person doing the rejecting. Usually, when people reject people, there are underlying issues, right? That's what I think.
Okay.
First, rejection can come from the place of envy.
True.
Rejection can come from the place of jealousy. And rejection can come from the point of greed. Rejection can also come from the place of superiority complex.
True.
There are people who, until they put other people down, they don't feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And so, for no just cause, they do these things just to make themselves feel good.
Good.
I have personally been involved with someone, a senior person in ministry, who does that. I had to, for the sake of honor and respect, I had to just put the person at arm's length. Each time the person sees me, he does not only call me his son, he begins to do things to make sure that I know my place. And one of the things I try my best to do, especially when it comes to ministry, is that I try, we are humans, we are not perfect.
Yeah.
But I try so hard to make sure that I know my place. So that you don't dishonor people. You understand? So yes. You see, well, if you want to put it that way, I just want to make sure that everyone is respected, everyone is honored. So that when this person, there was one he did one time like that I didn't even, it just took me unawares. I was with him,
and then we were discussing, and then he picked up the phone, called my spiritual father, and told my spiritual father that his son, is here with him. And he went on, and I was just looking at this man because I could not answer him. But eventually a forum came up with the father of mine. Were able to clarify some things, and he knew that was just that person being that person. And so at some point where he was in the spirit of brotherhood, he was teaching me how to run ministry. And then he began to tell me how I have to put members low. I have to let them know they are low. So that they can respect me. And then I would sit back, I'd come back and I'd tell my wife, I said, see what this person said, but I will die first before I do it. Ministry is not by force. I'll tell her, say, ministry is not by force. If I have to do this to get ahead, then I shut it down and go and become a multi-billionaire. And I'll just go and do that quietly, instead of having God judge me at the end for what I have done with precious souls that is given unto me. So why I'm saying this, because I'm trying to explain that part, the last thing I said about it coming from the place of superiority complex. So those four that I've mentioned are reasons why the person doing the rejecting can do the rejection. Now, for the purpose of time, let's flip to the other side, the person being rejected. We are always quick to say that the person being rejected is a saint. And sometimes we must slow down. Sometimes we must slow down and actually ask why the person is being rejected. I had a case. There was something that happened to me. Not to me. It happened in a ministry where I preside, and this young lady came to me, a new person to the church, and we got talking. And I realized that this lady has 3 children from 3 different men, and she's a Christian. And when I looked at her that day, I saw a young, beautiful lady looking like someone who they picked up from the gutter, looking so bad in terms of physical appearance. The next Sunday, because I'm not very used to pampering people, when I want to say my own, I just tell you the way it is so that we can all get corrected and move on properly. And so I told her, I said, see, yes, you've made the mistake you want to make, but can you imagine a man looking at you like this and admiring you? I'm sure you'd want to marry. She said, yes, I want to marry. I said, in this state that you are, do you think any reasonable man would desire you like this? And so I had to call another woman and tell the woman, I said, please teach this lady how to be a lady. Teach her how to be clean, how to put herself together. And then, and so when such people get rejected, you now want to blame the person rejecting them. It's not everybody that wants to have anyhow people around them.
Yes.
So when we are talking about this rejection, you must now also look at the person being rejected. Are there underlying reasons why he's being rejected? Tayo was talking about, I didn't hear fully at that point because my network was a bit, was playing around. And I think I heard him talking about somebody, a lady rejecting him, and whether it's him or somebody, I put the picture together. Now, that's a natural occurrence that nobody can do anything about.
Beyond anyone's control.
But do you know there are many people that get rejected on a daily basis, and it is not the person doing the rejection's fault. That person does not just want the energy this person is bringing. He doesn't want it. And then you go home and say they've broken your heart, and this person has rejected you. At some point you must sit down and and check yourself and see. You know, it's easy to blame everything outside but you.
I know.
It's very easy to do that. So while sometimes the person who is doing the rejection has his own problems, you that is being rejected, you have to sometimes sit down and do it and reflect. Check and see. This rejection, is it for real? Is it the people from the village that is causing this one? Is it demons that is causing this one? Or is just my sheer carelessness that is causing this one?
That's true. That's true.
My people perish for lack of knowledge. How much knowledge have you acquired over time? You are seeking for something. How much knowledge have you acquired as regarding what you're seeking? And then you carry mediocrity to places, and then people turn you back. You say that they have rejected you, that the people from the village, they are chasing you, that demons are doing this, demons are doing that. No, now check. Are you truly this thing we're talking about? Have you checked yourself and seen that it is truly a matter of the four things I mentioned from the other side, or is it that you as a person, you have issues you need to sort out? What's your level of excellence? What's your level of knowledge? How much wisdom do you have? Have you been in a place where you heard some people talk, and while they are talking, you are appalled? And because you can't hurt the person physically, you just want to remove yourself from that space. Now, how do you want to favor that person? When the person comes to you, how do you favor that person? How do you do that? So I think that while we want to do all the blame game and blame the devil and blame every other person, the person being rejected, check yourself. Now, number 3, if you have checked yourself, right, and you have discovered that it is really not you that is the problem, right? You have checked and you have seen that it's really not you that is the problem. Then the next thing is that one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself as a human being is the gift of letting go and moving on. You cannot have everybody on your corner. You can't. Even Jesus Christ did not have everybody at his corner. He had a total of 120 disciples. Out of the 120, there was 72 that was closer. Out of the 72, there were 12. And out of that 12, there were 3. So you see that in the end, you must know that everyone cannot be in your corner. Everyone cannot be for you. So give yourself the gift of saying goodbye and moving on. Not everybody must be your friend. I'll give you an example. I had seen my wife then. I had liked her, and I was eyeing her. And then I was going to relocate to the city where she was. One of the things I did, because I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I had to do. One of the things I did was I picked up my SIM card and I broke it and threw it away and bought a new one. That was how, now that's extreme for a lot of people. But I knew I did not want friends that will sit down from morning till night and discuss Manchester United again. I knew I didn't want that again. I knew I did not want friends that we will sit down and the next thing is, oh, look at that chick, look at her backside. I didn't want that again.
I get it.
So as I was leaving that particular city, I threw my SIM away and I started life afresh. Now, like I said, that's extreme for a lot of people. And that can be controversial. But that was me. I knew what I was looking for. I knew where I knew where I had a destination. I was trying to go somewhere. And I knew what I had to do. Some of those friends, we reconnected eventually. Some of them are pastors now.
Wow.
We reconnected with some of them eventually. But a whole lot of the others, I'm done with them. You have to give yourself the gift of goodbye and move on. You have to. You see, this thing we are talking about, when you develop, the next thing is you have to develop a good self-esteem, a sense of for I don't know how to put that English together, some self-worth.
Yeah, self-worth.
Give yourself some self-worth, for crying out loud. Your life will not end if they reject you. See, it can be painful, oh, let's not lie. Some of these things can be very painful. But would you now sit down and sulk? Or would you get up, square your shoulder, dust your behind, and move on? There's a better life ahead of you. Trust me, there are better relationships ahead of you. There are better, far better. I know what I'm talking about today.
Yes. Don't shortchange
They're
it.
far better. They are far better relations. The lady that rejected him because he was short is her loss now.
What?
Is her loss. Completely her loss. Has he not moved on?
Oh.
Maybe he's married now, Seth.
He's married with 3 children. Trust me.
What are we talking
Sister,
about?
Please.
What are we talking about?
Please, in fact.
So, it's her loss. Completely her loss. Maybe she's still even single.
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
That could be true.
So give yourself the gift of moving on. Develop some self-worth and self-esteem. Trust God for better relationships. Trust God for better dealings. You know, some people is in the place of business that they get rejected. Some is the place, maybe they went for a contract, they went for this, they went for that, and they get rejected from place to place. See, life is so much brighter ahead of you that you cannot sit down and wallow in self-pity and walk into depression. Just because some misguided person decided to reject you. So I don't know if this helps, but give yourself the gift. Now, for those ones who do the rejection, I don't even have anything to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. Because already you can see the deficiency in them. So, and until these deficiencies are corrected, this is the life they will live. For you that has been rejected, ensure that you've learned your lessons so that you don't join people that reject other people. Even though in the cycle of life, you will end up rejecting people too.
As well. Yeah.
Because like I said, not everybody can be on your corner. Not everybody can do that.
That's true.
So that's basically my piece. I hope it helps anyone.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. The last thing or the last point that I talked about in my own talk before I opened the floor was one of the most important aspects of dealing with rejection is learning to accept yourself. You won't be accepted by everyone, and that's okay. people feel once they're not accepted, it's not okay. Then this depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, overstress, and all of these things come in. So you've heard from the mouth of one of our guests today, the person that does the rejection, the person that has been rejected. Everybody should check themselves, self-analyze things, because they say the truth is bitter. It better you tell yourself the truth than coming from somebody who will even most bitter when others tell you. So, like I said, check yourself that you're okay in that scenario, in that situation, and just accept what it is and be okay. Don't lose your self-worth. Don't lose your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and all of those things just because this person has rejected you. The person has rejected you today. Somebody else is waiting to accept you. But if you now kill yourself or wound yourself before you even found that person, what kind of a life is that? So thank you so much once again for that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come to, I think one or two people have dropped. Shine, thank you so much for joining, my brother. And thank you so much for your patience. I know it's quite a sensitive topic. And that's why I've brought my puzzle and I've posted it on there. So if you maybe you want to shine, you want to start with the puzzle. And anyone still in the box, you want to start with the puzzle today. Why do we have to be quiet in church? If you know the answer that I'm looking for, so that you don't feel rejection when I say no, it's not correct. No, I'm just kidding. So why do we have to be quiet in church? If you know the answer, please feel free to attempt. You can write your answer or come into the box, tell us, and you get the gift for today. So Shine, I'm going to come to you. What is your take about this topic? Please help us understand some more. You're welcome, bro.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. I was really, really surprised to be up in this box because I know how precious this space is.
Oh, it's for
It's
you. I've been waiting for you as well.
it's actually not for permit me, not for loafers, and by that I mean that word in every sense of it, and by that I mean it's not just to come hang around and get some coins. It's basically because the conversation is meaningful. And I see it as a privilege to be part of those who would contribute to this conversation. So thank you so much, ma'am. And I truly want to appreciate everybody who has contributed. Once again, I think it is worthy of celebration, the testimony that we heard of great deliverance on this platform today, that no life was lost. That is to the glory of God. And testimonies would not cease in our camp in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so I've heard a lot already. I've learned a lot. From the person who spoke before Pastor Eligu, and even Pastor Eligu giving us a whole length. From who is rejected, how you are rejected, who rejects you, and so on and so forth. But I would just like to speak from my own experiences, because I've been rejected a whole lot of times. For me, it's even beyond book right now. I didn't get to read or study on how to deal with rejections before I was rejected severally. I've been, as I'm talking, I'm remembering so many, scenarios in my head. How you would give yourself to service, and the person you were serving would turn around and look at you and tell you certain things that would just make you go back home and begin to ask why you are even existing in the first place. From someone who I thought, someone or family who I thought, I was just always wanting to be there for them, to be a support system, looking at you in the face and telling you to go and be serious with your life, and to someone who you also thought you would have with you forever, telling you you're not the person. And it wasn't that blunt, but then I remember walking from from a location I probably should have taken like 2 different vehicles to get to my, I practically trekked.
Wow.
I had to walk a long distance, miles, just because I suffered rejection. I was walking like an aimless being.
I hope your intention was to blow off the steam, or it was just
Exactly.
a reaction from that
Man,
rejection.
the rejection was too much. Entering a bus was a pain for me. I mean, I can't even contain myself to get into a vehicle to commit me to my. I was just walking. I just faced front and I just walked. I didn't know when I get to my house. By the time I got to my house, my entire family was already at the entrance, hoping that I was not dead, waiting for me to come back. But then, like I said, I still suffered rejection recently. So it is not. So I'm speaking from a place of experience, right? So dealing with rejection, and it has so many sides to it, especially when you are rejected by someone you probably feel should shield you or should cover you or should be there for you, or when you are rejected in a community where you grew from, or when you are rejected in a community where you are serving. Just recently, it became official in August. I converted from a full-time ministry to a part-time ministry after like 14 years of serving as a full-time pastor. And that for me was a step that God had to help me take. I should have taken it for maybe 12 years ago, but for the fear of rejection, right? I kept going on with it. Meanwhile, because I was afraid of being rejected, I was also still in that community where what I felt could be my contribution was rejected as well. So you can imagine you put something forward and then to be like, oh, no, this cannot work. And then 2 years down the line, you discover that that same idea before they had junked is now the idea that is now prevailing. But unfortunately, you're no longer at the center of it. Now, not because I even wanted to be praised for it, but it's now even coming like it's a new idea, like it never existed. Nobody ever told us about this before. It never existed before. And so how did I get to deal with it? Some of the solutions have been mentioned here, but basically I think for those who have come out of it, who have gone into it and they're out of it, it sounds quite a bit easy for you to just say, oh, discover yourself, but it takes a process. And I keep saying something very, very profound to me, that it is, for the fact that it is easy for you does not mean that it is easy. All right. That's number one. Number two, the day the person who said you know what you know, they probably will not be serving you anymore. Probably should be somewhere else. Maybe at the same level with you. So me getting to a point where I had to find my self-worth was really by the Spirit of God. And one of the consolations that God would keep sending my way, as ridiculous as this would sound, is that there would always be an elderly person who would always testify to the gift in my life. At some point, I mean, elderly women who are way older than me, women who have mentored my mentors, and they just come to submit to my ministry and to say, oh, so I need you to pray for me. And then after that period, they call you back and say, you prayed for me few moments after I got my healing, and these are the things that you are trying to do in a space where you feel, this should be more effective. Man looks at the outward appearance. It's only God that sees the heart, right? But then, whatever it is that you do, you just hope that there will be some form of, should I call it appreciation or acknowledgement, that at least you are putting in your effort, right? But then it wasn't coming. That appreciate. I just hope I'm communicating what is in the heart, right? That appreciation is not to come in terms of form of remuneration or something, but it's just to say we acknowledge these gifts in your life. You know what it is for you to be putting your gifts to use. Your gift is yielding, yet it is being treated like it's not yielding.
I know, bro.
You can see the fruit of your gift. I mean, I worked with the youth ministry for over 15 years. And then the impression would be, what are you doing? Well, you're young people. You're not, we can't see anything. However, these are the same young people who have now grown to begin to hold the places of relevance in the same community, in the same space, in the same sphere, and they are also growing to become bigger people in the society. Right? But even in all of this work,
there will be one elderly woman somewhere who would always call to say, you prayed for me and this is what it is. Oh, I'm just calling to check up on you because I know that there is this great anointing, there is this great gift upon your life. There is nothing as terrible. You see, when you are rejected in a relationship, it is easy for you to say somebody else will find you, right? When you are rejected in a business deal, it's easy to say go for the next one. But when your anointing and your gifting is consistently talked down on, it's a different kettle of fish for you, right? Now, the icing on that not so good cake is when that talk is coming from the community that you feel you are committed to,
Yeah.
that you belong to, that you be that support system that you are committed to. And so for me, discovering, it wasn't because I didn't know what my self-worth was in the first place. It was that you are putting in what you have and it's looking like you're pouring your water in a basket. Until somebody walked into my life and said a statement to me. The person is going to be with the Lord. I mean, painful to me. But he said to me, he said, Shayo, whenever you say things and it is not accepted or it is not appreciated, don't look down on yourself like you are pouring water in a basket. It is that you are sent as a prophet. So you have seen the future and you are speaking of what the future would be right now. So see yourself as somebody who is gifted and who is ahead. All right. That redefined my life for me. To always see myself. So if I am in a place, and Pastor Ligo clearly stated it, if you're in a place or if you are doing stuff and you are not accepted, it's to the person's loss. Right? I think the issue with us, and which is another deliverance that I got, is that in this life, human beings want to have human experiences. And unfortunately, so many things have defined what human experiences are for. So many things. The media has defined, and I'm glad you said you worked in the media space before, and you know how media could be biased at some point. Media has defined some space. By media, I mean the movies, the things that we are told on a daily basis, things that we constantly expose ourselves to, have sort of defined how we perceive life. Now, by human experience, I'm meant to say that, sometimes we want to even go through these things so that we can have stories to tell.
Yeah.
You just want to go through it and say, me too, I suffered rejection, yada, 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 yada. But basically, I've discovered that there is another 1% in life who would constantly want to have the above human experience, right? Who will not position themselves in certain places where certain things can happen to them so that they cannot be telling the ordinary stories. They just want to have the extraordinary in their lives. All right? Because really, what I discovered is that you don't constantly have to think that it is only an environment that can accommodate your gift. To the glory of God, I did a video and I released the video today. And the title of that video was A Conversation with Your Fears. Sometimes when you stay in a place for so long, your fears begin to build security for you to say, if you go out of this place now, something. That's why people stay in abusive relationships. That's why people stay in jobs where they're being looked down on a regular, but because you think if you step out, your salary is gone, you are down to zero, you have nothing working for you. But what I've learned is that if you want to work in that level, and when I mean working in that supernatural, I mean having an understanding of where God has placed you, right, as a believer, but having an understanding that you can also join the 1% who will not be having the ordinary experience, but who desires extraordinary experience. This is what you would do, is to say to yourself that if there is any relation, I've made up my mind, right, that there are 2 relationships I can't work out of. One is out of devotion, the other is out of commitment. Of course, devotion to God. I mean, He committed Himself into my life. So if I walk out, I'm just the greatest ingrate on the surface of the earth. I can't even think of walking out of that relationship. The second one that I've committed myself to is not to walk out of my marriage. But anything outside from that, any relationship you cannot walk out of and after 30 seconds get your mind straight, then it means that you are stuck to the people who want to keep having the ordinary experiences.
Yeah.
Because when you go back there, they will beat you, they will batter you, they will shatter you, and you will come back saying the same thing. I had a conversation with someone who was saying to me, "Oh, this guy doesn't want to accept me because she's way wealthier than the guy." It's not because the guy too is not wealthy, but the lady is wealthier than the guy. The moment the guy came to the to the lady's space and saw what she has in terms of properties and acquisition, that was the last time he ever showed up.
Wow.
Tell me that, oh, she keeps missing this guy. And I said, the problem is that you want to keep having the ordinary experiences. Somebody has walked out on you, you will send a message, and it will take about 4 months for him to read that message. And the response to that message will be, "Hi, hello, how are you doing?" And when you try to pick up the conversation from where you left it, you drop off again. I said, what you need to do right now is to delete the chat history. Once you delete the chat history, there is nothing kept in that chat history. Block his line and delete his number. Don't just block it, don't just delete his number. Block it first and delete it. And make sure that you don't have the record at all. Because if you really want to have that higher experience, you must learn to walk away.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that thing is giving you, regardless of the pleasure. Sometimes you want to, we are taught in coaching that, you always look out for the positive side. So when you think of all of the negatives that you are going through, you just want to use one positive, but he's kind. Anytime I call him, he will just pick his call and say sweet things. But apart from that, you are not getting anything out of it. Oh, the business is really not paying me, but at least I have where I wake up and I go to every morning. Come on now. You just want to wake up and go out every morning and be battered and come back worse than you left. That's not the cost. You must be able to get up and take a turn and move. What I've said to myself is that I am not going to live in anybody's mold anymore.
At all.
I will never live. So it has to take a higher level of you coming to terms with where Christ has placed you if you're a believer, or coming to terms with the fact that when you were created as a human being, you were created above all other things. So it means that at least you have a status. Even if you're not better than the person that has rejected you, at least you're better than all the animals. You're better than all the inanimate objects. So you should just know that you're better than something, first off, even if it's not someone. And come back to terms with that status where you are right now. If Christ has told us as believers that we are seated in heavenly, it means that even if you want to fall, you are falling into the heavenlies, because that's where you are. Like I can't fall from my flat to my neighbor's flat because there is a wall in between, right? Where you are is where you will constantly be. Anybody who tries to, I'm yet to see a royalty who will go to a place where he's not appreciated and he will sit there. He would not even spend 2 seconds there. Once he discovers that the air around here is not recognizing who I am and what I am, he'll take a walk. So, my take home was 2 things, like I said. Knowing that I can walk away from any relationship and still keep my words together, regardless of what that relationship is filling me with. Secondly, is to say to myself, Shayo, stop having the regular human experience. Because if that is what you keep having, you will live there for the rest of your life. If the people I want to work with are not reasoning this way, how do they reason? If the family I hope to build cannot be built on this foundation, what is the foundation that it can be built on? Then I switch to that foundation. I begin to build that foundation. If the business I hope to get a deal from cannot yield to me what I hope to get from this current one I'm trying to this current transaction, what will that give to me? And so there is a conversation at a level where I ought to play. That's the conversation I should be listening to, not what you are saying right now. It took me, like I said, for me to have stayed in that situation for 12 years, and I just kept going on and going on. Oh, because I have this comfort, I have this relative comfort. I think it can work, and it can work, and it can work, until God told me point blank. It's like you want to become a Jonah. You want to become a Jonah. And the experience of Jonah was that Jonah was in the belly of a fish. That place was no location. It was total outright darkness, no communication with your world. It's like that's where you want to get to before you would know that there is a better experience for you. To the glory of God, I am not totally out of that community. where where I'm still serving there. Funny enough, I'm still serving. I'm still holding all of the offices I held before I made that decision. But the thing is that I realized that there are other experiences, there are other values.
Yeah.
I was in a coaching session for a company, and right there and then I got a word of knowledge for some. I mean, it should have been an official setting, and I got a word right there and then for somebody, and I said, "You have stayed in this situation for too long. I think it's time for you to get up and focus right now. This is what God is doing. You have wasted too much time." I didn't even know I was talking to a new employee.
Oh, wow.
And the moment I finished, the guy was just vibrating, and then he dragged me aside. I mean, a full-grown man. He dragged me aside and he was shaking. And this is the final thing I have learned as somebody who should respond to whoever is going through rejection. It's called the power of touch. If we can only touch them and just say you are not alone, I think that's all they need. I've seen men break down just by that. So I held him. And the moment I held him, of course, he was taller than me. His head went straight to my shoulder and he was weeping like a baby.
Wow.
And he says, "I am this person you spoke about. I think I'll pick up my life now from where I left it. I think I've wasted too much time." I mean, that is somebody somewhere valuing whatever it is that I thought that it wasn't working. So for me, basically, I have gone. I mean, I have several stories, but this is not a night of tales and stories.
I
Just a
know.
night where we share our experiences and begin to learn how to deal with rejection. Value yourself above every other thing. Now, it is not value yourself to a place of pride and arrogance,
There's always a
but
thin
it is
line.
to
Yeah.
know. But it is for you to know that you cannot constantly have normal human experiences. You cannot just be part of the story. You should be making history. You should not be telling story. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, my dear. Wow, you took us to another deeper level of this talk. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, Shine, for sharing. And I love it when people can relate and share their own experience. And to everyone listening out there, especially those on the FY page listening, I want to believe everyone's, maybe your case has been mentioned one way or another, from Pastor Eligo, from Shine as well, and other speakers who they've left already. I know everybody's busy and it's a bit late. Thank you so much. When Shine was speaking, I just remember this particular story. Not a story, because my experience. Many years ago, actually, I worked in this particular store, and there was something I was really trusting God for. And I've prayed, I've fasted, I've worshipped, I've done all of that, but I didn't hear nothing. Nothing was happening. I felt rejected by God, but I know better that God will not reject me. But all these assumptions, all these negative thoughts and all of that. But I was really downcasted. That's the word. And this particular day, I just went to work, and I just wanted God to speak, and it's like I wasn't hearing anything. So I just went about my work, and there was this Caucasian man. He passed by me, and somehow I think I was bending to lift up something to put on a shelf, and this person, whilst I stood up, I kind of hit him with my hand. And I turned, I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to." He said, "Oh, it's okay." And then he walked by, and then I carried on doing what I was doing. I was lost, like, when you're lost in thought and just doing things, like, mine wasn't there. And like almost 30 seconds later, this Caucasian man came back to me. He said, "Sorry." In my mind, I said, "Hey, does he want to go and report me to my manager that I bumped into him or something?" My mind was on that negative space. And he said, "Oh, sorry, excuse me." I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He said, No. He said, "I just came back." He said, "The Lord said to tell you, Jesus loves you." My God, people, I could not stand there. I just thanked him. I went straight to the toilet. I cried like a baby. There was me feeling rejected by God, like he doesn't love me anymore. He's not da. And there was this stranger. God had to speak life into me. I felt so ashamed that I could even be feeling rejected by God. You can imagine that. So whatever the situation is, no is an answer, and a good answer sometimes. Yes is an answer. We know it's good answer. And sometimes yes can even be a bad answer. Because just have it, and then you start facing issues. When some things are being delayed and you feel rejected, I would ponder and sit and look, why is this thing not coming forth? Maybe there's more to it than you see. You never can tell. And there's this portion of my Bible, because I'm a believer and I will never shy away from sharing. The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. For the fact that somebody rejected you, for the fact that you remember Shane was sharing, it's like sometimes over familiarity you face a lot of things because they feel they know you all, and God is bringing out this newness in you and they just can't see it. They can't see it. Rather, they just try to push you down like, we know where you belong, you remain there. But now God has opened the doors for you to another season, even whilst you're in that place. And it's like everybody's not seeing it. They're like, this is the old Fumi, this is the old Shine. What new thing do you want to come and tell us? And meanwhile, you just one time you venture into one place and you just say one thing that you've said a million times here, just like Shane has shared with us, and they're like, you are like a messiah to them, kind of a thing. And people are healed. People, because the belief they heard, they are not with that mindset. Because sometimes some people even deny themselves of a blessing just because they've rejected you. So there's so many aspects to this dealing with rejection. We really need to open our eyes and look from a deeper place, beyond that hurtful feeling, beyond that resentment, beyond the anger of being rejected. I can go on and on, but I want to give Coach Tola, the final space to say something before we round up today. Apparently, nobody has gotten my good evening, Unique Prayer. I see you. You're welcome. Nobody's getting my puzzle. Why is it that we have to be quiet in church? Why do we need to be quiet in church? Nobody's getting it. I'm going to bring it back next week. I won't tell us the answer today. So, Coach Tola, thank you also for your patience. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for the gifting, the tappings, and all of that. We'd love to hear from you, a woman of wisdom. God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone else that has spoken. I want to start off by saying that, when I look at the topic dealing with rejection, the first thing that comes to mind was that Jesus was rejected. He was rejected by his own people. He was rejected by the people that he came to save. And I mean, yes, he's God, Son of God, but even as in human flesh, that must have been really difficult to deal with. So I want to say that every rejection is actually a negative thing. There is no justification for it. Because the people who rejected Jesus, some of them were Jews, some of them were well versed in Judaism, and they thought that they had a right to reject him. They put everything together and decided that they were fully persuaded that they needed to reject him. They even went ahead, plotted his death, and all of that. We know the story. We know what the scripture records of that. So it was a negative thing. It was, their own inability to accept the fact that this was the savior of the world, and being able to submit themselves to his authority and to the salvation that he proposed. So I want to say, and in a way, it's a good thing I'm speaking after Shine spoke. When we are rejected, sometimes it is not our own fault. It is not the fact that, I mean, yes, we can have physical limitations and all of that. All of us have our own thing, whether you're too short or you can even be too tall in today's world now. You can be too fat and too thin and all of that. And people have decided in their heart, or maybe you don't speak good enough English, or you don't dress properly, or you don't, whatever it is that people judge us by. For those of us who live in diaspora, you have the wrong color of skin. There are so many reasons why so many people will reject us and those reasons, they may seem justified to the people who are rejecting, but there is no good enough reason to reject a fellow human being. Because what the scripture says to us is that we should love our neighbors as ourselves. When we remember the story of the Good Samaritan, you know, by culture, by societal norms, he had no reason to stop and help this person. But because he saw a human being rather than just seeing a Jew or a Samaritan, he did what he was not expected to do. And that is why Jesus would share that story and that parable for us to know that it is not about our status in life. It's not about the grammar that we speak. It's not about the clothes we put on. It's not about the jewelry and all of that or our position in life. You know, sometimes, I mean, as I'm just speaking now, I remember some people, the way they treat the domestic servants that work for them, it's appalling because we think that they are nobody. After all, I pay his salary or her salary or whatever. And the reality is that these people are human beings as well. You know, and I remember I had a boss. This was not even, you know, this was in an, I don't want to mention the name. This was in an accounting firm, top four. You know, in my particular department, all of us were chartered accountants. And this man will speak to us as though, I don't even want to say as though we were his house help, because like I said, house helps are human beings as well. He will speak to us as though we were the dirt under his shoes. And I used to just wonder, why would anybody do that? I mean, today he's retired, you know, we have a WhatsApp group where all of us as X this and X that, we're all there, we're all conversing together. There is no, you know, and then when we remember that when we get to heaven, nobody will be rejecting nobody, nobody will have the upper hand over anybody. So one, for us to realize that when people reject us, sometimes it's a reflection on them and not on us. Because we are human beings made in the image of God. There is no justification for rejection, for discrimination, for any kind of name that we want to give it. And I know that sometimes these things can be so, the impact is great, the emotional impact, you know, sadness, hurt, anger, shame, low self-esteem. These are some of the things that can happen. But when we recognize the fact that it's not that we have done anything wrong, it's not because of who we are, it's not because we are short, or it's because those people cannot see beyond what they see in front of them. They cannot see beyond that. They cannot see beyond the physical or the material and all of that. And sometimes, you know, we should play it back and actually we should feel I don't want to say pity them, but we should be compassionate for them and be prayerful for them, because if somebody goes through life living that way, they could end up being sad and alone, actually. And sometimes when we go through rejection, it's possible that we say, oh, poor me, and we start having a pity party for ourselves. But like people have already said, if people do not value you, don't stay in a place where you're not valued. Don't stay in a place where you're not valued. Take a decision to walk away and say, okay, this is it. You know, once you've settled scores with God and say, God, why is this happening? You know, what have I done? You've settled your scores with God. Even if you've done something wrong, you can ask God for forgiveness and say, okay, I messed up. I did something. I made a mistake. Lord, help me, forgive me, help me to correct this wrong that I've done. If even after that they continue to reject you and are not willing to accept the fact that you've apologized or restituted or whatever it is, you can walk away from there. Because as we know now, a lot of things affect our mental health. And there is no point in saying, I mean, our brother talked a little bit about people or mentioned people who stay in abusive relationship. There is no reason why you should stay in a place where you're not valued as a human being. It's not like everybody is going to be asked to sit at the high table, or everybody is going to be treated like a king, or everybody is going to be treated like the boss, or everybody is going to be given, royalty. But at the end of the day, everyone is a human being, somebody that God made in his image, somebody that carries the lifeblood of God in their veins. We should not treat them as though they do not matter. We should not reject them because they are poor, because they don't dress like we do, because because all of those reasons are immaterial. We should see in front of us human. I mean, in the country that I live in, you see homeless people. And I have to confess, when I first got to this country and I saw homeless people begging for alms, I was like, oh my goodness, I've come to this country, brought my few naira that I've saved up over the years, converted it, and you're asking me for a pound. Do you realize how much? I mean, this was the days when a pound was about 150, 150 naira. But it still meant a lot to me. I was like, I'm not giving nothing. I mean, I couldn't even understand the concept of homelessness in the UK. I could not understand it. And I looked at them, what's wrong with you? Why am I coming all the way from Africa to give you alms? You know what I mean? But over the years now, I have grown in my knowledge and in my understanding. And sometimes they are smelling. Sometimes they haven't had a wash and all of those things. Some of them are reeking of alcohol and all of that. And I'm not, necessarily saying give them money, because sometimes they will use it for drugs and things like that. But you see somebody, you can still feel that compassion, that this is a human being. Buy them a sandwich so that they can have a meal, if it is hunger that is the thing. So I mean, it's not like I'm going to go to a party with a homeless person, but I can still feel a connection, that this is a human being that God died for, that God made in his image. I can feel the compassion that says, oh, why is this life so wasted like this? Why is this happening? And when you have conversations with these people, you will find that there are a lot of things that are amiss. Some of it is mental health issues, some of it is, and we can be that light for people, and not just take the easy way of rejecting and isolating and being holier than thou and behaving as though, God forbid, if
We are
something were to
superior. Yeah.
exactly, as if we're superior. God forbid if something were to happen to us. There was one time, now that I said it, we went on an outing, a few of us ladies, I think we were four. We went to central London, we had a meal, I think, and then as we came out of this space, this was late, and we were going back to, I think, North London then. And this man approached us. He was unkempt. He was, you know, everything was just not right. And he approached us. I mean, my first reaction was to be scared, because it was like, oh, is he going to attack us or something? We didn't know what to make of it. And then they started begging us for alms, oh, that he wants to eat, and da da da. Needless to say, this was a black guy. So we were like, then one of the ladies started engaging him and talking to him and say, what's the problem? Where is your family? This and that. Lo and behold, he was a Nigerian. We looking at him, we wouldn't have even guessed that he was a Nigerian. We would have believed that he was from any other place apart from where we were from. He was a Nigerian. He mentioned his name. He had a Yoruba name. Honestly, we were almost in tears after we finished talking to him, because now we could connect with him. This was now a human being. Before, a few minutes before, we were looking at him as, oh, this is some deranged person, maybe he's going to hurt us, da, 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 and we're all females, so what are we going to do? What are we going to do? But by the time that conversation ended, within 5-10 minutes max, we felt compassion for him, because now we could see a human being as opposed to, oh, is he going to attack me? So the bottom line of what I am saying is that no rejection is justified. When we remember that Jesus himself was rejected, we should remember that no rejection, and really we do it because we're human beings. And, there's that tendency that we're constantly comparing ourselves with others and all of that. But when we remember that the scripture says that we should love our neighbors as ourselves, then it means that we don't have a right to discriminate against anyone for whatever reason. No matter how obnoxious that person may be or sound. Yes, we all have our different preferences and whatever thing we want, however we want to describe it. But and then when we think about the impact that has on the person that is receiving the rejection, some people never heal from things like that. We talk about childhood trauma. You could be in your 50s, 60s, and we're still talking about childhood trauma. The things that we experience at age 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is still affecting us in our old age. So some people never come out of those things. I would hate to be the person that creates trauma in another person's life. Again, when the scripture says that woe unto him, I can't remember the scripture properly. The person who puts a noose on somebody's neck, I can't remember it properly. But why would I be that person that creates that amount of trauma and pain for another person just because I find it, inconvenient for this person to be in my space, and then I treat them in one kind of a way? When we're on the receiving end, we know what that feels like. How come we're now the ones doing the rejection again? So it's a very delicate topic and it's sensitive. And I'm sure in little ways or in big ways, we've all been on the receiving end. And maybe we've also been the ones that are dishing out the rejection. But the bottom line is, let's focus on what is important. Let's focus on the fact that these people are human beings. And for whatever differences, God made us different. All of us, I've got 3 siblings. 3 of us are females in my house, and we are so different from one another. Sometimes when we disagree, it can be like fireworks is happening, and these are the people that were born of the same parents, same father, same mother, and all of that. When people see us, they say, oh, you look so much alike. That's where the similarity ends. That's where it ends. If we can have such differences in the same family, how much more somebody that was born in a different family and all of that stuff? I think a little bit of patience, a little bit of understanding, a little bit of accommodating and tolerating other human beings, and tolerating, that's one thing we've learned in diaspora, because we were the ones on the receiving end of the racism. We learned to tolerate other people, because now we know that it is terrible when you are on the receiving end of it, So that is something that we can all take away and learn from. Thank you so much, Fumi. It's been an interesting topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Tala. Thank you. Very insightful. Look, that's the bottom line of it. So my question, the question that I asked, I think from all the contributions, all the submissions, you can see that rejection is not totally a bad experience. You just have to find that good in it, regardless of the pain, the hurt you're feeling. And I mentioned something about resilience. They say what does not break you makes you, so to say. So count it as one of the things I said in my talk. Count it as an experience, but use it to grow. Use it as a source of a progression in your life. I'll address those people, which almost everyone has addressed as well. If you're the one dishing out this rejection, just know that I don't want to say I believe in law of karma or whatever. It might just come back to you and harder. And then you might not just be able to handle it yourself. They say what you cannot take, don't give it to other people. But I know there's so many case scenarios where sometimes you may have to say no or reject someone. I totally understand. But how we now do it is even another thing. So imagine somebody's going to reject you. How are they saying that to you? Same way you would appreciate it, do it to other people. Thank you so much, Coach Tola. Thank you, my brother Shine. It's good to have you here. I know Mrs. Williams, she can't speak, but she always come to give me this moral support. She's my tweenie anytime. God bless you, sis. Pastor Eligo, thank you. I know you've dropped off because you said you had to go. Thank you so much for your contribution as well. To May Joy, thank you. Tayo, thank you all. And lover of good things, I will reach out to you after this live because I know our time difference is still, probably in the afternoon, evening where you are. Thank God for life, And to you guys listening out there, you may be faced with rejection or you've gone through it, but you don't know how to process it. All the things all of the speakers have said today, take it on board. It doesn't mean you're worth any less. It doesn't mean you should lose your self-confidence. It doesn't mean the world has abandoned you. Just look on the positive side and just think positive in that rejection and go through the emotions, the pain you're going through, the feelings. Don't bottle it and say, okay, I'm just going to move on with life. And then some little thing come and triggers you and you're just all over the place. So accept that feeling of hurt, the anger, the resentment, but process it in a positive way such that you shake it off at the end of the day and move on. Because as we live life, if I tell you that after today, no more rejection will come your way, I'll be deceiving you. So we need to build that tenacity. We need to build that resilience such that we're practical about it. When it's another rejection comes, you've been there before. Bring out from that experience of how you were able to deal with past rejection with this as well, and deal with it such that you don't get to that place of sadness, depression, anxiety, losing sleep to the point that you're almost losing your mind. No, one rejection could mean another blessing opening up for you. You just have to believe and see that. Thank you all so much for the love, the gift, the contribution, the tappings, everything. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate every single one that has, dashed in and out of Insight today. God bless you. Till I come your way on Thursday, we'll be talking about, this one I'm always passionate about. We'll be talking about marriage relationship, another interesting angle to it. So if you don't want to miss that, join me 8 p.m. UK time on Thursday. We'll be talking about marriage and relationship or marriage relationships. Till then, remain blessed, sweet dreams, love you all, and I'll see you on Thursday. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Coach Donna. Thank you, Shine. Mrs. Williams, thank you. I see you. Thank you for joining. Have a lovely night rest. God bless you. Good night, Unique Pearl. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside. Thank you guys. Good night. Inside. All around me, yeah.